So let me preface this first by welcoming whoever is here to the licensing committee meeting of Community Board One on this 10th day of May. Uh, m- and we're repeating 200 from Battery Park City, 200 Liberty Street, because Max, there were some concerns raised at the larger meeting. I don't know if there's anybody out in the audience who raised those concerns, but let me see if I can remember what the concerns were and we can talk about them. There was some issue that this terrace had never really been used for outdoor anything. And I've got it right in front of me. Here I am. And
Yeah, it's kind of
people,
hard to see how this goes too, the way they took the picture.
so
We did a rendering. If Onej wants to go to that, that speaks 1,000 words better than the picture.
and I think there was concern,
Yeah.
Max, about the hours on the terrace and people living at Gateway and people worried about it and liquor and all of that.
Yeah.
Jeff Galloway is here, and I would call on Jeff Onej and let him express to Max some of the concerns that he had raised. Okay, Jeff?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, sure, thanks. And I don't necessarily have concerns. I had questions. I know this space was presented to the Battery Park City Committee by, I guess, probably Brookfield a few years ago, and I think there was generally a positive reaction to enlivening this space. And I happen to live in Gateway, and so I'm very familiar with Gateway's proximity. There's also a residential building on Albany Street directly across the street. I imagine Gateway and Albany residents will be customers. And so I don't want to suggest that there's any negative assumptions. But it is a residential building, a couple of residential buildings right across the street. They have windows that open that look out onto the plaza. So we had questions about the noise levels and contemplations of the use of that plaza, as well as just general questions about the entrances and exits. Where would they be for this space? I mean, we know there is commercial entrances and exits both on South End Avenue as well as on West Street, as well as through, I guess, the lobby of Brookfield there. So if you just explain some of those issues, I think that would be helpful.
I'd be happy to, Jeff. And I was at your full board meeting for a different matter, and so I observed the colloquy and the concerns, and so I'm happy to be here today to recap and to clarify. So this was discussed at the last committee, but a bit of a recap because you didn't have the benefit of that, Jeff. And for the other committee members. The proposed operator is called GolfZon. They do golf simulators. That's their main business. It's one of these places where I don't golf, but if you do, I'm familiar with them. You go and you can experience the experience of swinging a golf club at a screen. And have the experience of being on Pebble Beach or any of the other places where golf is played. This company does these golf simulators throughout the country. They have one opened that they just opened in New York at the Palisades Center up in Rockland, and they're opening 3 of them in the city. This is the one in Manhattan. They're doing one in Brooklyn, and they're doing one in Long Island City. So that's the primary experience. It is a restaurant as well, and so there's indoor seating. There's also this outdoor area. The rendering that you see on your screen there is exactly the way they want to build it, with the exception of the fire pit. They've learned from Brookfield that they can't have a live fire on a terrace, and so that's going to be going away and be more of the bocce / mini golf that you see. And so it's the proposal is for it to be a family friendly atmosphere. When you come in downstairs, you're going to be greeted. You can't just sort of walk through the place unescorted. So when you're greeted downstairs, they're going to ask, what you'd like to do there. Are you here to use one of the golf simulators, or are you here to dine? If you're here to dine, you'll be escorted to either indoor or outdoor dining. You see the picnic tables there. You sit down. You'll be given one of those little numbers on a stick. You give your order to a server. The server comes and then brings out your food. Your kids and family can play with the mini golf and the other things that you see out there. When we came to last month's committee meeting, we had asked to be open until midnight on the outside. There were concerns. I mean, the committee did a good job, as they always do. There were concerns about midnight, and the suggestion was made by Susan that we instead roll that back to 10 p.m. 7 days a week, which the applicant was happy to do in order to meet that request of the community board. So the closing time would be 7 p.m. There is, as you see,
I mean, 10 p.m.
10 p.m. What did I say?
7.
Oh, excuse
You
me.
want to go for 7, Max?
That was a slip. No.
That's why I corrected you. We said 10 p.m.
10 p.m. 7 days a week. They are going to install very tall grass for noise and light mitigation. You see that there as well. And so we thought that was a good and fair compromise. And so hopefully this clarifies the proposed operation.
And I think there was not going to be music on the terrace. Am I correct?
So actually, our proposal was for there to be music on the terrace, but hearing the colloquy that you and Jeff had at the full board meeting and in consultation with Onej, I've communicated to her, and I'm now communicating to you all that I've spoken with my client, and they're happy to have no music on the terrace whatsoever as an additional noise mitigation policy.
And what it's hard for me to tell exactly from the rendering there. What kind of occupancy would you? What kind of occupancy is there for the terrace? And sort of separate question: what do you contemplate in terms of the actual occupancy?
Yeah, so you're right, Jeff, that there is a difference between what the legal occupancy is going to be, which is determined by a formula with architects with square footage based on what the contemplating occupancy is. Unfortunately, I wasn't expecting to be here tonight for this meeting for this matter that came up at the last minute. So I don't have my questionnaire in front of me. But if Onej, if you wouldn't mind scrolling to the pages of the application that
The
that address.
occupancy they have 494 people, but it doesn't have it broken out to the Oh, it doesn't.
Doesn't
Yeah, so
tell us how much is on the terrace.
76. 34 on the second floor. Then the terrace is on the second floor.
Well, so if you see there, your chart, which has dining area, bar area, and kitchen area, we added another line there for terrace area. So we don't have the occupancy. I think that's still being determined with the architects, but we do have, we are telling you the number of seats, which is 75, and this is going to be, you can't be there unless it's associated with a seat. So we think that's a good indicator of the scale here, not particularly large.
Okay.
So 75 seats on the terrace. I want to be clear. That's why I'm repeating, Max,
right.
with 12 tables. And what else did I want to ask you? There was one other thing. I think and you're not going to have any buyouts. You're not going to have any big, huge parties up there or anything like that. Am I correct?
That's correct. And you could put whatever language you want in your STIPs to that effect, and that's not an issue.
May I just comment? This is a large venue.
The stipulation is there, Karen.
Oh, okay.
He knows.
They have it in
Okay.
there.
Yeah,
They're
we
the
have
one.
it.
Very
They're
good.
one that has it.
We
in
have
there.
it.
You look
It's the
through
one
their
that's
stuff.
there. I appreciate him coming back. Jeff, any other questions?
If you give me 1 second, I'm actually going to go to my window and look at the terrace.
I will give you 2 seconds. Go right ahead.
And while he's doing that, could we have that other picture that was up of the rendering of the space?
Pardon Pardon me.
Now, where is the terrace? Is it on the top there?
This is the.
Where
That's
it
terrace.
says
You're looking
built
at it.
in-
So this is a bird's eye view, Francis, of the
That's
terrace.
the whole terrace. That's the second floor right
There it
there.
is.
Well, that's another good one.
It's,
There you
it's
go.
big,
Better, better.
it looks bigger when you look this way than from the top.
And
I
so
mean, it's a
my,
big space. They're not gonna have a fire pit because they
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
Right, Max?
That's right. But so instead of a fire pit, if you imagine another one of those long rectangular mini golf, putting greens, that's what it's going to look like.
Okay.
so my question from looking at the terrace, I have a partially obscured view of it from where I am. Do you intend to occupy that entire terrace? I couldn't tell from the rendering or whether that was a portion of the terrace.
It's a portion, Jeff. I can't say if it's exactly down the middle, but if you look on what's on your screen now, well, yeah, that's fine. If you see at the bottom of your screen there, you could see a divider of planters that divides our space from the remainder of the terrace. So it's not the whole thing.
And it looks like it's on the portion closest to West Street. Is that accurate?
That's correct. At the top of your screen is West Street.
Okay.
Jeff, anything else?
The only other question I have is what is the main entrance to this place?
Yeah.
Downstairs. So if Onej would be kind enough, if you go scroll up one more to the first floor layout, you could see that the entrance is down there, and it's from I believe it's from within the within the larger Brookfield building.
It kind of looks like, although I would have to, that's actually unclear whether the entrance is directly from
West,
West Street or whether you go in and then somewhere inside. Is there also an entrance from the lobby area that's on Liberty Street, or do you have to go around to the West Street side to get in?
I'm sorry, Jeff, I don't have that answer. And as I said, this was a last minute appearance, so I don't have my clients here, but I'm happy to get that information and convey it to Onej, who can convey it to you before the next full board meeting. In fact, I could probably get it tonight.
Okay.
I just don't
That's
know.
all
Yeah,
right.
that would be good. I mean, it from this rendering, it looks like the entrance is perhaps exclusive, certainly primarily and probably exclusively from West Street, but be interested in the answer.
Just so I understand.
A West Street entrance is good from a neighborhood noise disruption or whatever perspective.
That was my question. I don't believe there's any flexibility on this. I think the answer is the answer, but to the extent there is there a preference? It sounds like
Well, I
West
mean,
Street,
either
like-
Liberty or West would be fine because those are both kind of commercial facing entrances. It looks like it's not South End Avenue, which not terrible, but to the extent that there is large crowds at closing time or whatever leaving at the same time.
No, I don't think it's South End, but I'll get an answer.
Okay,
okay.
thank you.
All right.
Welcome.
So if Jeff's, which I was concerned about, questions are answered, and we did approve this, and with the further clarification, I would call the question and have a second and reaffirm the approval of this. Okay. So if there are no recusals, no abstentions, no negatives, go home, Max.
No, not yet. Not so
I
fast.
know that. I know that. I was being facetious. But it passes. I didn't mean to be that facetious, but all right. So that's done.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay. bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do we have
And
enough
no
of
clients.
us here now for it to really pass, or do we have to revisit it at exec?
I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us. I think we're okay because 3 are absent.
Okay,
I think, but hopefully if she comes and I don't know, there's somebody else, but let's.
Technically, only
I
two.
know,
are
I don't
absent.
want to hear technically, you know that.
All right.
All right, I don't want to hear technically, but we'll deal with it. I'm not worried, okay?
We
All
have
right.
to do it. We have to do it. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. All right, so our next one
Thanks, Marianne.
is Tribeca. And I would like, this is the, Max is here again, for the Hotel Barriere. How do you pronounce it?
Hotel Barrier Les Fouquets.
Oh, Les Fouquet, Barriere Les Fouquet. All right, so I received today, something from your working group. Um, to preface this, there is a lot of angst around this application, as Max knows. And I think from now on, I want the committee to, all of us to understand when, and I want Max to hear it from me, when we say 6 months, it doesn't mean an automatic approval. It means that we will review it in 6 months after opening. They had a late opening. They weren't at full occupancy. There was a lot of back and forth with the community, but I received something from this working group, and it talked about, I don't know whether everybody has it, but I'm going to give it all to you, that they met, and they talked about 46 people as the maximum capacity on the roof, if I understand,
Mhm.
that it would not be open to the public, that it would be for hotel guests only. And I have a question on that after, but let's keep going. There will be 2 small speakers for background music, no DJs or live music. And the hours were going to be 9 p.m. weekdays until weekdays, and 9:30 Friday and Saturday. Um, at least for this period of time of opening it up and seeing. And I gather that the hotel agreed to this. But before, and we had agreed on the sidewalk cafe on DeBrosses as 24 maximum seats, no music, and they would be open till 9, 7 days a week. Am I correct, Max?
You're correct. That's the email you got. I just want to make a few clarifications, but
All right, but I have some questions first, and I'd like
Okay.
the committee to understand it. The way I understood it is that the hotel guests only, but you are planning on having a private club there or some kind of membership club. And so my question was, to you, how do we, there are 2 things. When you're serving alcohol, is there somebody serving or people bringing it up from their rooms? Because that's not very controllable. And how do you control it? And who's involved in it? And how do you choose members from occupants? And do you have a system? So those are all my questions. And then I'm going to let other people speak as well.
those are all good questions. I'm happy to address all of them. Just a little bit of background before I get to the specifics of the question. First of all, thank you. Thank you for having us back. We really, really appreciate it. And we took a lot of your time up last time. And so hopefully this won't, require rehashing everything. When we did come last month, we had a proposal. The proposal was later than what you just summarized, Susan. The proposal was basically 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. on the Sidewalk Cafe and on the roof. It's true that we've used the opportunity of the last month to speak with the members of the working group who are still participating in the working group. And that working group was never, that was created by the 2021 stipulations when you first approved us. That working group was never intended to be a decision-making body like this committee is. It's not a body that takes votes and issues resolutions or anything like that. But it was designed to be a forum for issues and concerns to be addressed. And so I don't speak for the working group. And I want to be careful because I'm sure some of the people who participated are here. And so, I don't want to put words in their mouth. But as I understand it, reading the email that you read, Susan, is that 3 of the 4 members of the working group who participated in the last meeting agreed to what you just summarized, in return for, and we're willing to agree to it with one caveat, which is the membership, which I'll tell you about in a second. We're willing to agree with that in return for their support, tonight, or at least not opposing us tonight. So that's the quid pro quo. As to your two questions, first, there's been some misconceptions about the word, the membership club, and I wish that term club wasn't being used, and my client is using it too, and it has, without realizing that has sort of special meaning within the context of liquor license applications. So this is not what they're considering at this hotel is not a club. It's not a private club. There's no club room. There is no club at this hotel. This is not Zero Bond or any of the other private club licenses. This is a public hotel license. What they are going to be doing is having a far more limited an exclusive version of something that every hotel has, which is a membership rewards program. You go to the Marriott, you go to the Hyatt, you can sign up for their rewards program and you get special perks for doing so. That's what they're having here, but in a far more exclusive way. They're going to be inviting a limited number of people, very limited. I think right now the number is around 150 people to be part of this rewards program. And what that rewards program is going to get them is a number of perks, not just associated with the rooftop, but there's a lot of nice amenities in this hotel. There's a spa, there's a gym. That was all, you all know that from when we came in 2021. If you're, right now, if you the only way to get into the spa or the gym is you got to be a hotel guest. Well, if you're a member of this limited rewards program, you could also come and use the spa or the gym without having to spend the night at the hotel. You'll get preferential reservations, preferential booking if you do spend the night at the hotel. You'll also be able to have access to the roof. And so what we're talking about for rooftop access here is guests of the hotel and people who are part of this rewards program. We're not talking about private events, if you're not a member of, you can't throw a bar mitzvah or something up there on the roof. That's the category that it's limited to. So I want to clarify that. Regarding your second question, Susan, about how, what's actually going on up there and how is alcohol being controlled. This is a passive, relaxed environment. There is no active, to use hotel speak, no active programming of this roof. There is no customer bar on this roof. When we went and got this liquor license approved initially, we included the roof as part of the liquor license app, so it's part of the license, but there's no customer bar and we're not proposing one. There is a service bar. So when you go up there and you are sitting there to either do yoga in the morning or, if it's later in the day, you want to sit down and eat or have a drink, the way that works is you sit down, somebody from wait staff will come to you. They'll give you a little menu. The menu will have some food and beverage options. You tell the server what you want, and then the server will go to the little service bar and get your drink there and bring it to you. Food will be mainly fulfilled from the other F&B facilities in the hotel. So that's how it all works. On the membership club, on the exact number, as I said, I see there's something in the chat. I don't know the exact number of people in the membership club, what it's going out to, but it's going to be the rewards program, but it's going to be exclusive and very limited.
All right, before I go
Confused.
on, Pat has a question. Pat, you have your hand raised.
You partially answered it, Max, but so you said 3 out of 4 of the working group, they didn't vote, but they advised. How large is the working group, the total number of people on the working group?
If I could have Adam Klein, who is from my client, he was here last time. If he could be promoted to panelist, and Adam, raise your hand. Onej, for some reason, his name might be displayed as Tara, but it's Adam Klein. He can give more specifics, but I can just, as he's logging in there, I can tell you generally speaking that the initial membership of the working group was a little larger. There were more than 4 people initially, and it did sort of peter out over time in terms of the number of people who were actively participating in meetings. Adam, do you have anything more specific than that?
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us back. It it got less and less in terms of the working group, but we had a nice small turnout on a regular basis.
Just
I could
because
just add
three-
to that. I just got a note. There were including elected officials and CB members. There were around 35 people would receive invitations to working group meetings.
Okay, and I mean, it's not your responsibility that people didn't come, but three people kind of determining what happens with the,
Right.
how the community feels doesn't seem like enough people to really make a valid,
There
it's
Yeah.
not
there
your
was
fault,
always
show up.
there was always more than three, that's for sure. I think it was averaging, 6 maybe, and in the beginning it was higher, but yeah, I mean, I think 6 came the last one.
But I'll say just Pat, and I don't know if which direction that your comment was going in, but I think that's actually a point in our favor. I mean, there was a significant amount of outreach and interest in this application in 2021. There was a lot of people who participated then and who went and agreed on the steps. We created the working group as a framework to discuss further issues. We've submitted a number of letters in support back in 2021 and again for this evening. And we appreciate and have always welcomed the concerns of the people who have participated in the working group. So this is not to diminish them at all. I think our actions have shown that we've been very solicitous of their concerns. But at the end of the day, I think it does reflect that the vast majority of residents who live in the vicinity here are either in support or agnostic to what we're proposing.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, when it comes, the hotel may be fine, but now we're talking about a rooftop, and rooftops. You know how this community feels about rooftops, so I
Understood. I mean, this has been well publicized, this process for this
Okay,
hotel. I
so
don't
if
think
they
there's anyone
didn't
who
show
doesn't
up,
know
it's
that
their
we're doing this.
responsibility then.
well,
Thank you.
it's more than that. I think that the 4 or 3 who came do represent their specifically one building. I think what I would like to do, if it's okay by everybody, I want to call on Francis, but then I want to see if there's anybody out in the that are a participant who would like to speak from the community. So Francis, go on.
I am either slow or limited, but I don't understand this membership thing and rewards. I mean, because if you're not going to the hotel, how do you? I don't understand. Help me understand this rewards program.
Sure. So every hotel has a version of this where
Yes, they
you
do.
spend nights at the hotel. Some of them even you pay.
Okay, you
Well,
spend nights at the hotel.
Well, I'm saying just starting with the basic. I mean, every hotel has some version where you spend nights at the hotel or you pay some amount of money and you get something extra. Okay. What this program that they're doing, it's based on that idea. And so the people who they are going to be inviting to this extremely limited and exclusive rewards program are people who they
Without
expect.
having spent the night at the hotel.
Well, they're people who, Francis, who they expect to be frequent users of the hotel. I mean, if you're not frequently coming to this hotel, you're not going to spend the money the additional money to be a member of this program if you're never here in New York or you're not spending a lot of time at this hotel. So the idea is it's going to be targeted towards people who use this hotel so frequently. Let's get you even more out of your experience with the hotel and take it to the next step and become a member of our exclusive program. But it's true, Francis, that if you are a member of this program, you don't have to be spending a night at the hotel in order to walk into the hotel. So for a lot of hotels, you walk into the Hyatt Grand Central and you want to use their gym. The answer is no, unless you're spending the night. And it's the same thing here, except if you're one of the select few who pays to be part of this program, you don't have to be spending the night to go use the gym. You show your card and you can go use the gym. There's no clubhouse. There's no club room. There's none of the F&B facilities that you've approved, like the cafe or the restaurant or the downstairs, are exclusive member zones or anything like that. But it is to get a little bit more out of some of the people who we think are going to be frequently using the hotel, and and so having them be able to come up and use the roof is part of that.
Still not clear.
Well,
We
the
just-
only thing I can, how do I describe it? For example, I used to go to San Francisco and go to the Kimpton Hotel. All right. And I have a Kimpton card so that when I go to Washington and stay with a friend, I could use the Kimpton Hotel Spa. Is that what we're talking about? You see, what we can't get our heads around,
Oh,
Max
yes, we-
and Tara, is that why would I join this club to come here if I'm not in the hotel?
Right.
Unless I'm a member, it's a club. I mean, I won't say club. Why would I want a membership unless I live here?
Right. Or
I'm
I've been
living
to the
here.
hotel. I've stayed at the hotel. I mean, you talking about targeted lists. Targeted lists from where? You're talking about a targeted list from people who have stayed at the hotel. And what you're going to do after they leave or whatever, you're going to offer them this membership. And you're going to say, look, if you want to come back to New York and you want to use our facilities, you know, you have to join this club rather than stay at the hotel.
Well, so
And
Francis
where you
and,
can-
and Susan, I think, Susan, the example you gave is helpful. And maybe, maybe I assumed you all remember this from 2021 and I shouldn't. The brand of this hotel, Hotel Barrier, Les Fouquets, is a French brand. And so there's two entities on this liquor license. One's the hotel owner. The other is the French brand, Hotel Barrier. The French folks, they have these Hotel Barrier hotels throughout Europe, France, and elsewhere in Europe. This is their only one in North America. This membership that I'm talking about, this rewards program, it's like what you were just saying, Susan. It gets you access to any of the hotels anywhere in the world. So if you're a member, you can go to the one in France, you can go to the one in Germany, you can go to the one in New York. Sorry, Francis, were you saying something?
No, I understand that. I understand. I'm just.
So I do think that the vast majority of people who are going to be using this rooftop as members of this rewards program are going to be staying in the hotel anyway because they're not from New York and they're going to be here in the hotel. And so the membership gets them other things. It gets them all the other things I mentioned, and it gets them cooking classes. It gets them all sorts of other stuff. So they're going to be hotel guests anyway. It's true that there's going to be some people who are part of this rewards program who live maybe in New York and maybe they want to be part of the program because they're going to go to Paris or France and stay at the Hotel Les Fouquets Barrier over there. But because they have that membership, they could also come to the one here in New York and they could go sit up on the roof if they want, or they can come for a cooking class. So
All right, I'm going to call on Mark, and then I have a couple of more questions, and then I want to see if there's anybody from the larger community, so we don't.
Yes, we
carry
have
on.
several hands raised.
Okay, good. Mark, go for it.
Yeah, that was my concern with regards to why would you want to be a member if you're a resident? It sounds like a little bit to me, kind of like a backdoor way to have a private membership club. I get the point about that you can use that you're a membership and you like what Susan was saying. If you're in a different town, you're not a resident of the town. But why would a resident doesn't stay at the hotel want to have who likely has these kind of perks at other places? So to me, it sounds like a backdoor way to have a private club. That's why I think we're not. None of us are actually getting grasping the full idea of this.
Well, to answer your question, Mark, I think the truth is that, if you live here, you're probably not going to be so interested in doing this unless you travel to Europe a lot and you like to stay at Hotel Barriers in Europe, in which case this might be interesting to you, not because of the New York hotel, but because of the Europe hotels where you stay. And you, just like Susan showed her Kimpton card when she traveled to San Francisco, you show this card when you travel to Europe. So, but in being transparent, it's true. If you have one of these cards, even if 95% of the time you live in New York City and you're using it in Europe, you can come to this New York City place. You could use the spa, you could use the gym, you can get the discounts on the food at the restaurant, you can come to the cooking classes, you could do the movie nights, and if you want, you could go sit up on the roof.
All right.
It's
So
not a
I'm gonna
private
go
club.
back
Mac,
What
you're
is-
saying that
But
if
Susan,
I
just
go-
one quick thing. So
before
just-
Francis.
just
Wait.
one quick thing. So you remember initially when this was all proposed, it's a hotel, it's going to have a restaurant. Now it's a hotel, it's going to have a rooftop and a restaurant. Now it's a hotel, it's going to have a rooftop, a restaurant, and a private membership thing. So
Mm.
this is how this progresses when they get the foot in the door, and it never ends. So
We
that's my
always
opinion.
said we wanted the rooftop, Mark, and you know that. We always said we wanted the rooftop.
Right.
That's not a
I don't want-
progression.
It's
We've
okay.
been clear on that since 2021.
Yeah,
Come on.
they have been. All right, Mark, I'm gonna call on people in the community. I still can't figure out how you're gonna monitor the 46 people on the top and and liquor. You're going, I want to make sure I understand. You're going to have somebody up there serving liquor. Am I correct?
Yes, and not just one somebody. This is going to be staffed. This is a nice hotel, and so it's staffed. If you need something, someone's coming to you. You know, you want a menu, someone's bringing it. You want something from downstairs, someone's coming. So it's going to be staffed.
All right. Okay, thank you, Max. People who have their hand up, Onesh, call on them, please. I can't see it on my computer.
Alexa, you may unmute. Yes.
So,
Go ahead.
hi.
Hi.
My name's Alexa Cohen Bickney. I live at 440 Washington Street, which is kitty cornered to the hotel. I just wanted to chime in and say I fully support the rooftop. Boquettes has already been such a fantastic neighbor. The F&B is an amazing benefit, I think, to the neighborhood. I'm there multiple times a week. And I think this is the type of neighbor we should be encouraging overall.
Thank you. Okay. Next.
Okay, we have Erica.
I
Go
also
ahead.
can you hear me?
Yes. Where do you live?
I live at 415 Greenwich. It's the Juice Press building across from Laya Bay. I just wanted to piggyback also on Alexa's comment, and I also am in support of the hotel and the rooftop. And so far, I've been nothing but thrilled with everything that I've seen and witnessed with the hotel. I also frequent the hotel multiple times a week. I was there for lunch today. They keep things running smoothly. They're a good neighbor. They're quiet. They're clean. I think it's been nothing but increase the value of my apartment by having them there. And I just wanted to say all those things and think that this is a great neighbor.
Thank you. Just let's be clear. The rooftop hasn't been open. Am I correct, Mac? Or have people been on the roof? I want to understand this. Okay.
There's
So-
been no use or occupancy of the roof.
I don't doubt that they've been a good neighbor now and they're open and blah, 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 but nobody's been on the roof. And that's a whole other kettle of fish.
Because we
That's
agreed to
why
it.
we're here.
We agreed that no one would be
I
on the
know,
roof.
Max. I'm not.
All right, so you can't hold that against us. We agreed to it.
I know. And that's why you're back here. Okay.
Okay, next we have Brett. Go ahead.
Hello, how are you? I live at 100 Barclay currently. I've been living in Tribeca since 2012. I was at 101 Warren Street before that. You know, I've seen what is very few F&B establishments in the neighborhood. Sometimes it grows. We lose a lot of people. You know, what's there is to me, you know, a mix that should be elevated. And, you know, we haven't seen a product and a concept and a class establishment like this come into Tribeca. I think since I've been in the neighborhood, that's 10 years. And, you know, it's a really big upgrade to the neighborhood and the quality and the assortment of products and offerings that are there.
Okay.
You know, and I think the way that they run the programming, I think the investment that they made in the neighborhood is something that really deserves the support of the neighbors here to help them to succeed.
Thank you. I don't need to hear from anybody else. I had a huge group. Is Jessica Davidson here or anybody?
Jessica's next.
I'd
Yeah.
like to talk to Jessica. I'd like Jessica to speak up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, my dear.
Great. Okay, so I was one of the 4 people that was at the working group meeting on Monday. And so when I speak about like 4 of us agreed to those stipulations that you received by email that you read at the beginning. One of us just, wasn't really able to vote because he represents different people. And so he couldn't actually be formally express his opinion on it. You know, we worked these terms that was the direction of that the inevitability that this rooftop was going to happen in some form. And we wanted to have some control, some input into its rollout in terms of the number of people and the hours. And so we discussed, last time we had talked about the Sidewalk Cafe. We came up with parameters that was approved last time. We even gave, we had it at 8, it was 8 p.m. on the weekdays. We agreed, let's just make it 9 p.m. across the board. You know, closing at 8 p.m. during, you know, the nice months, it seemed, didn't make sense. As for the roof, you know, we have a lot of concerns. Our building is right across the street, and wanting to keep control over the number of people. And the way that this was presented like early on was that it was an amenity for the guests at the hotel, so they can come out and have a beverage on the roof and enjoy, you know, enjoy being out there. And, you know, there's some reasonability to that. And, you know, all the assurances that, you know, what kind of establishment they are. So, you know, we agreed to some sort of limited hours to see how it would affect us. Right before the meeting on Monday, word on the street got to me about this limited private membership. So, I mean, that kind of threw a wrench into things, where feeling that I don't know what's being planned. It makes me very wary about what's going to happen next. There have been things along the way too. It's like, so it went from 40 people to now it's at 46. So we agreed to 46. Hotel guests only. I mean, if we're going to accept these terms, we're going to really have to be very clear on what hotel guests means. Because I'm concerned about, and I think someone else, Mark Amoruso, I think that you mentioned, is this some backdoor way to have a private membership club? I mean, I think that the community has a lot of concerns. I know that you have support from people, but if this rooftop is closed, it's not open to the public, I don't even understand why people in the community are supporting it, because they can't, theoretically, they can't go there. So am I missing something about that?
Well, I think it's a good point, Jessica, and I think that it's you know, you can see that the members of the community are having some some difficulty between membership and club and whatever. I'm willing to give them their membership, but the limit has got to be 46, and they've got to account for it and keep to it. And if it's 5 members and 40 40 hotel guests, I don't need to quibble, but for me, it is the maximum number, what they've agreed to, and the hours, and that there's going to be some staff up there serving the alcohol, so that there's some surety that nobody's going to get out of hand. And that is part of our would be part of our resolution, and that's what they have agreed to. I'm, you know, my view is I don't want to be unreasonable. I always feel that, but they have agreed to 9:30 on the weekends and 9 p.m. on weekdays. I am I am inclined to go for it and give it a shot and let's see where it goes, and let's see the kind of neighbors they are, and hopefully they will be good neighbors. So that's where I am. Is there anybody else on the committee? And anybody in the community that is, totally against it? We certainly want to hear from you, but I think, in all fairness, they've been fairly reasonable. I can't quibble with them on this one, and so I want to see how my committee votes. And unless there's somebody else in the community, I don't want to go on and on with this.
Can I just say one thing very quickly? Just
Yeah,
one thing.
don't put your foot in it, though.
No. Just to say in response to some of the comments I heard is, the 46 capacity is yeah, I think that matters a lot more than, what you think about this membership, rewards program, et cetera. And Susan, you made the point, no matter who's up there, it's 46 people. And that's the limit. And it's going to be monitored and it's going to be controlled. We thought that not having it be open to all of the public was a plus factor, and so we think that's a helpful thing. And so those two major limits, not open to the public and 46 people maximum is, we think really cements this as incredibly reasonable, not to mention all the other things you just summarized, Susan, the hours of operation, the monitoring, et cetera.
So unless there's somebody from the community, Onej, that I don't assume that most people are in support of this. I think this is a really rough go, everybody.
We have Joan on the line. Joan, you can go ahead.
Go on, Joan.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I find this quite distressing. A month ago at this, there was this committee, and that meeting was well publicized, and there were quite a few people in the neighborhood who either spoke or wrote against the rooftop. The rooftop, according to your own guidelines, is not supposed to be considered for 1 year until after 1 year of operation of the hotel. And that's for good reason, because the hotel has not had the opportunity to live through a summer, through hot weather. We haven't been able to see how the Courtyard Cafe, which is on the interior of the hotel, how that affects the immediate neighbors, including myself, when the rooftop is rolled back so that it's an open air venue. And the hotel has been at low occupancy for much of the time that it's been open. So it made complete sense. I thought that the committee did a really good job in denying that request. They were generous enough to allow the Sidewalk Cafe, even though the hotel had signed the stipulation agreement that they would not come back and ask for the Sidewalk Cafe until after a month, after a year. They came back after 6 months. So I think that it's unfortunate that the lawyer was able to come back to the community board and say, we don't agree with this, we're not happy with this, so let's give us another chance. During the last working group meeting, of which I'm a member, was only planned at a short notice. I wasn't able to be there. Some other people were not able to be there. So I think it's a mistake to think that 3 people in the neighborhood who appeared at that working group meeting or speak for all of us. So we're talking about the logistics of the private club versus not, or how many people, but I think we should go back to, do we want another rooftop venue in Tribeca, especially North Tribeca? And I would say, absolutely not. At this point, let's have them come back after a year of operation according to your guidelines, and then we can see better what we think of the hotel.
I don't disagree. However, there seemed to have been some misunderstanding in terms of the 6 months. And I will take responsibility for that we heard each other differently and it was written up differently. And so I would like, in some ways, everyone, to see if we could come up with some reasonable, I'll call on you in a minute, Mark, some reasonable compromise to let them have a shot at this. This is me. This is not the committee, but this is my presentation to the committee to see how they would do. They had a late opening. They were here in 21. Max, you've been open since last October, or Tara?
They opened in October.
In October. So, you know, it's getting started. October is 5 months away.
Six.
They're not going to be open past the end of October, the way I understand it, Max. Are you, am I correct?
I'm sorry?
Your October is the end of the rooftop, the way I understood it. You were not going to keep it open after October.
We're not proposing the things that we proposed in 2021 with the chalets to make it warm with heaters and stuff. So when it gets cold, no one's going to want to be up there.
Unless, you know, I hear the community, and I always worry that if we're not reasonable, we all have to go to the SLA, and sometimes they rule in our favor and sometimes they don't. So that's why I'm trying to figure out a way to limit it and see how it works. And the hours have, you know, they've given us the hours that we thought were reasonable. We as a committee, some of my committee members think it should be later, but we went out. We have our own disagreements. So here we are. I'm going to call on Mark, and then I'm going to propose something.
Let me go.
Yeah, the thing that concerns me is what the last resident said with regards, and a couple of people brought it up. You know what, these working groups and stuff like that, you know, people get burnt out. They're not community board members like us, and you know, you have meeting after meeting after meeting, and it's difficult to get people to show up. So you know, with these kind of issues, we've done this in the past. There should really be like a town hall about it, one issue on that night, and that's it. So everybody can come and talk, and we can hash it out instead of meeting after meeting after meeting. I don't know if we can still do that in this case, because I do have concerns of the residents' concerns here, the same as mine from the very beginning. I can't see voting for it based on
okay.
the information I have, that is,
Everybody
and then
has
some
their own.
information that we don't have.
Yeah,
So
everybody has their own, I mean, a view on this. You know, I just don't want it to go on. And Pat, go on, please.
You know, I hate
I'm
rooftop.
sorry, Francis. That Pat.
Sorry, Francis. I hate rooftop gardens. But Mark, I think we can't be capricious and arbitrary. And we did say 6 months. You know, as chair of Quality of Life, you know, I hate rooftop gardens. And to the public, to the neighbors that are listening, I just feel like we have to be fair. And somehow, I agree with you, Susan, somehow come to an understanding and let them try their rooftop garden.
Yeah, I agree.
Francis, go on.
That's where I was going, and I think that you know, if we could give them 6 months, that gives them till November, which means this is the prime season when it's warm and there'll be, you know, a lot of things outdoors, and they'll have a chance to show what a good neighbor they're going to be in terms of the noise and stuff. And this is the opportunity for the residents to kind of monitor what happens. This will be a good test to see how they really roll out that rooftop, you know. So if we give them, you know, the 6 months, it gives them until November, and then they come back here, you know, November, and the residents come, and if they've been a good neighbor, then we move forward. If not, because I think that with all the confusion in the beginning, that, like Pat said, I think we gotta show that we're a good community board.
Well,
we want to be fair.
My proposition would be that we allow them, based on all the stipulations we've agreed upon, to go till the end of October. and, you know, it's cold by then, and that they will have to come back, that we will grant this, and we want to see if they're good neighbors and how they comport themselves, and that we will have a large meeting again to, if we're going to extend it with the community, but I would give them this 6 months. That's how I feel. So I would like to make the proposal.
Well, what's the enforcement mechanism to revoke it if things don't work out?
Well, I think it's only for 6 months. That's all we're giving it to them for, Mark. We're not giving it forever.
Interject something, Susan?
Pardon me?
Say something for a second. With all of the residents that are on this call and attending the meeting tonight, it's up to them to call 311 and complain. If they have noise complaints, get those numbers and give them to Lucian in the office or Nej, so that in
Video, whatever they can
October,
get.
we can deal with it. We can say, you know, you've had this many complaints against you, and we can go from there.
I am willing to, they have told us 46. They've told us they're going to have staff up there that are going to monitor it. I'm going to trust them for 6 months. And if they screw up, it's over. I mean, we will go to the SLA and Mark, if it's really bad and we get those 311 complaints, we're going to haul them in. We're going to tell them they've got to come in. We're giving it for only 6 months and we're going to have our eyes on it. And that's how I feel. So I'm going to call the question. Will somebody second?
Second.
Okay. So any recusals? Any nays?
I'm a nay.
Okay, Mark, that's
Mark,
fine.
okay.
And Karen? Nay, Karen? Okay. Everybody else, I will assume is a yes.
Any abstentions?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Francis. Any abstentions? No, they voted no, my two characters on this committee. Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen. Max and Tara, you really are you got to be on your best behavior. I mean, a number of us and some of the community went on the line, and even the ones who participated, we're all very worried about it. So just know we're going to have our eyes on you. All right.
We welcome
Thank you
it.
for joining us tonight. Oh, sorry, go ahead. And it's Adam. For some reason, it comes up as Tara.
Adam, I'm
This is-
sorry. I thought it was Adam.
That's okay. We welcome it, all the eyes, and we want to make a point to not be like any of the rooftops that have been thorns in your sides. It's going to be very quiet.
Okay.
Have been a few.
Community
All
to
right.
know that
I
they-
hear it. I've
they
heard it
have
a
to
lot.
do their
and
part.
All right.
I'm
Thank
not
you.
into that type of operation.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Good night.
Okay, ladies, just give me a second.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. You know, I think the negatives are thoughtful, Mark and Karen. I mean, I do believe that. I think that's how we get to where we're going to get to. And it may not be perfect, but let's see how it plays out.
Quick reminder, Mariama, please, video for votes. Moving on, Susan for 200 Liberty. Now that we have quorum, can we get a vote? Oh, we have Jean as well.
Okay, I have to revote?
Yes, because we only now have quorum for
Okay.
200 Liberty.
Everybody, the golf zone who came before us, we had Jeff Galloway who had asked us some questions at the larger meeting, and they came back and answered the questions. And so we all had voted on this, but now I have a quorum, and hello, Jean, I need you all to vote again in person, so I don't have to go to the executive committee with this.
Call
So,
the question.
all right, Jean, you had a question. What's up? Unmute. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I was trying to get my hand up on that last vote. I was a no on that last vote.
Okay, we'll
Okay, thank you, Jean.
we'll note it. Thank you, Jean.
Thank
All right, so unless there are no recusals, abstentions, noes, I'm going to take that everybody approves 200 Liberty, which was the
Liberty.
golf sun. Okay? Karen, you were here for that. All right, thank you. All right. Let's go to 388 Greenwich.
Yes, give me 1 second. You
And this has two parts to it. I mean, it's listed as two things, but they're related.
Yes, the first one we're going to be looking at is is this the one? Yes, 14th floor, and we have Jennifer, Lindsay? I thought it was Jennifer, okay.
I just want to know between which two streets.
Oh, which two streets? Where is it? Hubert and Northmore. Lindsay, you should be able to.
Here we are. Okay. So with me, I just want to make sure we unmute one additional person.
Yes.
I don't know if you happen to see Vlad Lazanowski.
Vlad. Yes. Okay. I will
And
move Vlad
pardon
over.
me if I butchered his last name.
No problem. Vlad, you may unmute.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So I'm the attorney representing Restaurant Associates for this particular application. And as you noted, there are two parts to this. One is a new application and the other is an alteration. So what I want to just make clear first is that Restaurant Associates Inc. has had a license at this building for just about 20 years. They were initially approved back in 2004. And the license that is there now is for floors 2 through 4 and 26. And that's a little bit unusual because typically the liquor authority will only license floors that are contiguous and touching. So I'm not sure what happened there 20 years ago that we got the 26th floor tacked on to that one license. But essentially, what we're doing, I guess I'll group everything together just a little bit and then I can get detailed and you know, answer whatever questions you have. What we're doing is right now we have floors 2 through 4 and 26. For the alteration, we want to cut off that strange attachment of the 26th floor and instead have floors 1 through 4. And then the new application is to license just the 14th floor. And we're not doing that as part of the alteration because, like I said, we're not supposed to attach floors that are not, you know, contiguous and consecutive in order. So we want to make sure we take the appropriate step to get the 14th floor license.
Okay, so let's do it this way. Let's do the 14th floor.
Sure.
And so I don't have, if Onej will run through, it's a full liquor license. You're not going to have any, what do I want to say? Parties there. What do you,
Sure. So this building is the corporate headquarters for Citibank. So there will only be corporate events here. There are no events that would be open to the general public. This is a catering establishment license as opposed to an on-premises liquor license, which would be open to everyone. Here, the catering establishment premises will only be for Citibank employees and their guests. And we are looking for hours of only going up until 10 p.m. for various corporate events. And attached to the 14th floor, there is an outdoor terrace. So I want to make sure that I mention that. And within the building, I believe they currently have approval for the other levels to, on occasion, have entertainment. They would like background level music. On occasion, they would want to be able to have a band or DJ. If There are no objections to that. And
Two different things. So
Okay.
let's be very clear. We're mixing apples and oranges the way I
Let's just
understand.
focus on the 14th floor.
That's
first.
correct. I don't want to do anything about 1 through 4.
sure.
Let's
So
see.
I guess what I was trying to refer to is they've been operating there without an issue for 20 years. So I wanted to make that comparison now that if we were to get a new license for the 14th floor.
I got it.
Yeah.
But this, I want to understand this. This is with a capacity of 189 people, so it's a large venue for us. And, but it is people who are coming, who belong to Citibank in some capacity.
Correct.
And it is recorded music. It's not live music. Or
Yes, there
is
is
it?
live music.
There
There's
is-
live, the option for live music and DJ is what we're looking for the 14th floor,
So,
as well as background.
so I have a question. So people will be coming, do you have a traffic plan? Because people will be coming from outside.
They have one.
We did submit a traffic.
They have
plan.
one. They
Okay,
submitted one.
I didn't see it.
Let me
Okay.
skip to that. Here we go. Photos of pickup areas.
Okay. All right. And it goes, there will be for, till 10 PM.
Correct.
Okay. So any questions on this one? This is the large venue, the catering for Citibank, the 14th floor only.
14th floor with no windows.
It has a terrace, does it
Correct.
not?
Yes, it does.
And, we have, all the doors, there should be no drinking on the terrace, past 10 o'clock.
That's correct.
Well, if they close.
So Susan and Francis, if I may add something, I'm the client. So
Yes.
I run all the food and beverage in 388 Greenwich. And I can assure you one thing. On the 14th floor, even though the capacity is 189, in the past, over the last couple years, since I've been with them, it's been several parties. We just serve food and some sodas and sparkling water, but it's never been any, as Lindsay mentioned, it's a corporate facility. Nothing's been ever done there past 7:38 p.m. So 10 p.m. we put it on the books, but it's really never happened. And one other thing important just to mention that on the terrace, it's never more than 40 people. The ways, the layout of the terrace, there's a lot of grass, there is a lot of seating space, but really if it's anything past 40 people, we bring it down to the lower level since it's a 40, the whole building belongs to city. So there's a lot of spaces on the floors. So if it's up to 40, we keep it there. If it's past that, we bring it down.
Okay, we'll put that in the resolution and the stipulations. Thank you.
Sure.
I appreciate
you.
that. Are there any questions on this from the committee?
Yeah, Susan. So there's a huge problem with this building. Just for reference, so the building is on Greenwich Street. It's between Northmore and Hubert. But Beach Street runs directly into the building as a T Street where it dead ends. Now we were dealing with this issue in Quality Life Committee, and we're going to address it with their with Jerry Jennings, who's their government affairs person. Then the COVID came, and we never were able to get back to it. And what it is the traffic congestion, drop off pickups, double, triple park cars, buses, right in front of the building. It is a huge problem that's not been resolved. And with this, in addition to wanting to have live music and DJs, this is a little bit of a change of method of operation. Unless this parking and traffic and congestion issue is addressed, some of the things that we were bandying about was that drop off and picks up should be moved to to Hubert Street, where it's a wide street and there is no traffic congestion there. That they were going to hire a dedicated traffic person who would actually be out on the street coordinating, making sure that these buses, and I don't need to show pictures, this has all been documented already in the Quality of Life Committee over the years. So it's not just hearsay, it's all been documented in the past. So buses are not double and triple parked. This happens nearly every day during work days, particularly at night. So unless we have a guaranteed traffic plan that's going to alleviate this traffic, and drop-off and pickups will not be on Greenwich Street, and then we need to address the employee thing, not just as well with the government affairs people. We should hold this over until that can be guaranteed, or if it's put as a stipulation in the resolution that these drop-off and pickups will occur not in front of the building, but either on either side, West Street, Hubert Street, or North Moore Street.
Okay.
It is a huge problem. It is not. Sometimes you can wait 2 or 3 cycles to get to one light that's less than 100 feet away because of double parked and triple parked cars and buses.
So Lindsay and Vlad, what do you have to say to that?
Vlad, my question to you is this something that's within your control, that you would be able to say you can control where these vehicles will be, picking up, dropping off, etc.?
Yes. So yes, I got 2 things to say first. As far as let me just start with a shorter one. As far as the live music and DJ, I've been there with 2 years. It happens only twice within 2 years. So really,
Can you address the parking first, and we'll go back to that? We don't want to
parking-
mix up.
Yes. So parking first.
If you could address it, I don't know how, but all right, go ahead. Yeah.
So
Let
for
him
the
go.
parking first, I am at the building of 5 days a week mark over the last 2 years. I have never seen a buses double park. As a matter of fact, I have never seen a bus stopping there. And again, I'm there 5 days a week from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. As far as the Uber and as far as the drop-offs when there is a parties, that can be either they have security which we hire through the building, so they can escort people and ask when is a larger event past 100 people to they order their Uber and Lyft to go on the either side, either on the North Moor.
Yeah, that
or
doesn't
Timber.
happen. There is no dedicated person to deal with the traffic congestion. And if you've never seen a bus, 2 buses double parked, I don't know how to even address that saying you've never seen that. It happens almost every day. Ubers, taxis backed up. It's every single day. It's been documented.
Mark, I have seen the Uber and Lyft,
yeah.
but I have never seen the park. This is
I don't know. I like I
No,
said,
I
I
don't
don't
need to
know
have-
how to address the fact that you've never seen that. It's shocking that you've never seen that because it happens almost every day. I don't know how you, as the person who runs that, this is really a Citibank issue. It's their building, and like I said, they're the ones that should be working to get that traffic off of Greenwich Street and stop this congestion because it's all for them.
Well,
Ubers,
so
and taxis, and
wait,
buses.
wait, wait.
Every day during the, is this
Yeah, it's
during
every
the work
business day.
Because
every
then
business
we
day.
have 2 separate things. We're looking at the evening hours and when they have
Right.
events for the liquor license.
Right. Well, that's
So
what I'm
if you
saying.
can
It's in the
guarantee
evening.
what you're asking for.
It's in the evening, Florence, Francis, in the evening. So this will just be on top of everything else that's going on now.
So I'm confused also, Mark, so I want to understand. So I understand that during the daytime, it's a mess at Citibank with all the black cars and whatever else is
Well, it's
going
generally after, I mean, it is here and there during the day, but it's generally like once you get after 3, 4 and up until like 6, 7, 8, give or take.
So the car has nothing to do with the restaurant operation. It has to do with the business. It has to do with the Citibank presence. So unless you want to remove Citibank presence from the neighborhood, the traffic
So
will be there.
like I said, Pat, maybe you can chime in on this. We were working towards some type of solution before the COVID started with the government affairs person that they were, like I said, one, hire a dedicated person to actually be out there making sure these things don't double park, and finding alternate locations for drop off and pickups on the side on either North Moore or Hubert Street. So there's not this double, triple parking and congestion. So that's what's going on now. It's continuing to go on. Nothing has been done about it. And this will, since they're really changing a little bit of method of operation here, will just add on to what's happening now.
So, one question, Francis, you wanted to say something also, or not?
No, it's just the fact that I think we're talking about two different issues here. We're talking about the workday issue, and the issue that we're dealing with is when they have events after 6 o'clock. And if
No, it's both,
they can
Francis. It's
commit
both.
to having a
not two di-
dedicated person to kind of
Yeah.
control the traffic,
Yeah,
you
it's-
know, in the evening, that's one thing. But during the day, I think that
It's
you've
not,
been dealing with it
let me
at
correct
quality
you.
of life.
It's not two different things. It's the same thing, because like I said, most of this happens during, like, starting after 3 to 4 and going from 5, 6, 7, 8. That's when the worst of it happens.
But
So it's the same time frame.
okay, just to clarify one thing, we're talking about this is, as Lindsay mentioned earlier, this is only corporate people who work in the building can be part of the event. So I just want to clarify one thing. If there is an event that starts between 4 and 6, there is no other people, additional people coming. Those people are already
They're
in the
leaving.
building to be, but they're gonna leave regardless, Mark. Even
Yeah.
if there is no event, they have to leave, right? So there's people in
So
the building.
basically, what Vlad is saying is this change will not increase or change traffic.
No,
So
no
we are,
whatsoever.
But, all right, stop everybody. But what Mark is saying is that it's intolerable now. But I want to understand two different things, all right? If I understand correctly, and anybody on the committee can correct me, this 14th floor is for really the staff and the workers at Citibank. And
Correct.
they're not cars or traffic
That
the
is
way
correct.
I understand it.
That is correct.
And that would be in our resolution. I mean, that this is not what this is. This is really corporate catering with alcohol. Am I correct, Lindsay?
you are correct. And I can't speak to, you know, what everyone is doing, but I would anticipate that what they are doing is taking public transit every day because, you know, as an employee, it would be very expensive to take a black car to
90%.
and from work every day.
It's a
And I'm not
$900 to
saying
park.
that Mark's issues should not be addressed. I just want to make sure that they're addressed by the appropriate individuals. And
No,
we can,
I think there are two
go ahead.
different things here. So
Okay.
I'm willing to do, I want to understand that the 14th floor has a fitness center as well. I just want to get all my facts on the right page.
Sure. And Vlad, would you be able to speak to, I guess, which areas will be used on the 14th floor for the events? I understand that we're licensing the 14th floor mostly in its entirety so that people can, you know, travel around the floor. But go ahead and give a better
They
description.
can travel around the floor and go to the fitness center with a drink. Am I correct? I just
No.
want to make sure.
No, that's so let's start from the beginning. Yes, 14th floor it has the gym. Yeah, that's correct, Susan. But certainly they will not be going with any drinks in the gym. For the 14th floor, for the terrace, it's only gonna be the terrace is facing the West Street. It's a West Street between North Moore and Hubert. So it's only that. So basically the back part of that floor, the front part is where the gym is. And there is always security there. So people won't be able to come through those doors and exit the part which is marked with stanchions, where the events, usually the corporate events, with most of the time presentation and no music taking place.
Okay. And you've said that if an event is larger than 40 people, it would move to one of the lower floors that are going to be
down.
licensed.
That is
Okay.
correct.
Well, the way I understand it is 189 people can fit there, but only 40 can go out on the terrace. That's the maximum on the terrace. Am I correct?
That is correct.
But you could have up to 189 people with the, including the 40 on the terrace. Am I correct?
Yes, in and out included. Yes, that is correct.
Okay. All right. So we have this issue, which is the 14th floor. As a catering venue, it is large venue, but the way they explain it, and which would be is that there is no outside traffic, Mark. This is what I'm trying to get at, that this is really for the staff within the building. Am I correct, Vlad? Am I correct?
You are correct.
That is
Okay.
correct.
All
That
right.
is
There you go.
correct.
All right. So this is the 14th floor with Restaurant Associates for Citibank for,
I see employees leave there all the time and get into Ubers. So
but that's, Mark, they're two different things. And I don't disagree with you, but I can't, I see it down here where I live, but it's how they go back and forth to work, and when they're working late, whether the law firm pays for the Uber, but that's not what we're licensing on the 14th floor. I want us to be clear. They may go back and do the Ubers, and I think there should be something in our resolution that talks about traffic and where it should go. I have no trouble with that, but I would like to at least get through the 14th floor and give them their license for their corporate catering license. Could I have a call the question in a second?
Call the question.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Bernard. Are there any recusals? Any abstentions? Any noes? Mark,
Mayor says a no. Yeah, I don't feel that it's been addressed properly.
okay.
Mm.
I understand that, but okay. If there are no other no's, is everybody, I think everybody's a yes. You get the 14th floor, and we will put, Jean, what do you want to say
No, I'm
before
a
I?
no, no.
Okay, Jean's a no as well. I think that we will put in the resolution, Lindsay and Vlad, about pick up and drop off from these events. I owe it to my a member that is at least designated, and that you will monitor that, Vlad, whether you see it or not, but that there will be some system of when people leave, and that there will not be, you will try to mitigate whatever traffic there is.
Yeah, because Mark's been bringing this up quite often, that the
Susan,
traffic has been an issue.
I will talk with the security at the building, which are there 24/7. And when there is a larger event, I will ask the client, Citibank, to send someone from facility just to escort people on the sites, and to have a signage that says after a certain time, please order your Uber on either side, not in front of the building.
Okay, we will put
Mention,
that in the,
mention in the resolution the history of this, that it just didn't come up now, that this has been trying to be mitigated, but COVID interrupted any solutions.
we'll put it in, and we will
Yeah.
put in the other as well.
Is
All right.
Jerry, is the Citibank person, know if Jerry Jennings is still with the company?
I'm not aware, Mark. No.
He's the government affairs person that could help.
All right, well, maybe we should look. All right, so now quickly, well, not quickly, but let's go to 1 through 4, Lindsay, which seems
Sure.
to me to be a little more complex.
So 1 through 4 is a part of an alteration application that we're submitting. Right now, floors 2 through 4 and 26 are licensed under one license. And the alteration that we're proposing would be to get rid of the 26th floor and to add the first floor. So that way we will have floors 1 through 4 licensed instead of 2 through 4 and 26.
I got it. Second
Okay.
floor has the capacity, so all of that is a capacity of close to almost
1,000 people.
550 people.
No, 5,000.
What do you mean 5,000?
Oh, no, 5,000 is the square footage, not the capacity.
No, the
it's the-
capacity.
Well, then it's wrong then, what I'm looking at is.
Oh, I see. Okay, so we're looking at the first floor.
Has a capacity of 240.
I'm seeing a capacity, that's the number of seats. But just above that, if we talk about the public assembly capacity, which is like the legal number of people who couldn't be present,
4,000 people.
that's right, would be 4,243 for all of those floors combined together, being floors 1 through 4. But the seating for the first floor is only 240. The seating for the second floor is 200, and the seating for the fourth floor is 98.
So let me see if I can get a grip on myself here, because I'm a little confused. You could have, and what is the first floor? 240. You could have 4,000 people. You're not going to have 4,000 people, or are you? Because my hair would be standing up if I embark with 4,000 people as well. So you have to tell me what, I understand what the capacity is, but what are you going to, what's your maximum amount of people you're going to have?
So
Sure. Go ahead, Vlad.
Yeah, so let me add something here, Lindsay. Yes, Susan. So it's a big, as you know, 388, it's a big corporate building, but certainly not 4,000. The events usually, when they take place on the first floor, is never more than 250 people. Never more than 250 people on the first floor. Never more than 200 people on the second floor. Third floor, it's usually up to 50 people, where we move the parties from the terrace. If the weather, it goes past 40, then we bring it down to third floor. And the fourth floor, it's never more than 80 people. 87 to be more correct.
260, 250, 50, and 87. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Yes.
7, 16,
647.
14,
647.
647, if
And
I
that is-
add correctly.
Yes, and
That's
that-
your
Show the floor
maximum.
plans for each floor.
And
This
that
is
is
the first
never
floor.
at the same time. We never have event that overlaps, Susan. So if there is event on the first floor, right, there is gonna be never at the same time event on the third floor or the fourth floor, right? That never. So it's gonna be there 250 people at the time, or it can be less, right? That's the maximum capacity. Or if this event on the fourth floor, then it will be up to 87. It can be like yesterday, there was event there, it was a dinner, it was 60 people. So
Okay, all right, I understand it, and that will be in our resolution and our stipulation. Let's look at the floors, can we? So wait, so the second floor has a cafeteria.
that is correct.
First floor has a meeting hall, auditorium, and dining. So you can have up to 260 on the first floor. It's a large venue, and have a corporate dinner. Am I correct?
That is correct.
All right, now let me see the hours from the first to the fourth floor.
For that, we were looking for 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Monday through Friday, right?
Yeah, not
Do
on
you-
the weekends, right?
Monday through
Vlad,
Friday.
do you need weekends, Vlad, or are you
No
okay
weekends.
with
No
the
weekends.
No
weekends?
weekends, and 10 p.m. Okay. Again, you'll have to think about these traffic plans, Vlad. I think Mark is correct. This is a lot, this is people coming from the outside. It's not just for the Citibank employees, or is it only for the Citibank
Al-
employees?
Always,
This is
always only Citibank employees.
So
Susan.
if I understand, when we say always Citibank employees, it means that Citibank employees from 42nd Street could come down to this event.
So no. So what is it? It's only people that have badges from these corporate offices. So let's say you work on the 13th floor, and after a long day, they do a party. They celebrating. They had a contract. So so they inviting based off how many people they gonna be. They inviting them. Okay, join us for a brief 1 hour pass hors d'oeuvres and cocktail reception on the fourth floor. So the people that already work in the building, they're gonna get invited to go. But people that work in the actual banks, they cannot come because it's a little confusing. But this is Citigroup, which is mother company of Citibank. So this one is much larger. So people from the branches and banks throughout Manhattan, they cannot come here and join.
Okay, so I have a question. What floor has the terrace between 1 and 4?
There is between 1 and 4, there is no terrace.
Okay, so
Just
your
on the
application's
14th
a little
floor. Only on the
fatutz. All
14th.
right, but you'll have
Yeah.
to clean it up, but all right. Okay. Anything else on this application?
Not from our side.
I know, but not from your side, from my side.
So there are two resolutions, in other words?
We voted on the first one, which was the 14th.
So the same language with regards to the traffic congestion in this one as well,
Absolutely.
please?
Yeah, if there is any. But my sense is it's going to be more of a lunchtime or afternoon, but who knows? I'm not in charge there. I don't know, Mark, but we'll put in all the same language.
Who knows? They might want a private club later on.
Oh, Mark, don't start me, please. Anyway, all right. So, anybody, could somebody call the question? I'll call the question. Will somebody second? Okay. Any recusals? Any abstentions? Any noes?
No, again.
Okay.
Same reason.
That's fine. All in, the rest I'm going to accept as all in favor. Okay, so we're gonna hold you accountable, and we are going to check, don't worry, Hawkeye will be out there checking the traffic. But please do, Vlad, talk to Citibank and make sure it's secure in some way, and they're cognizant of the community's concerns.
I sent the in the chat. I know it only goes to the host, but the government affairs person's contact info. Maybe that can be distributed to them via the office.
I don't see it, Mark. Maybe it's only internally because I don't see it.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe if someone
If
in the office.
Onej could email it to us, we can make some efforts.
Yeah. You see it, Onej?
I'm sorry, what am I looking for?
Do you see it in the chat?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. If you can email that to them and that
Lindsay
contact person.
and
I think
Vlad.
he's still there. I'm not sure, but we'll find out.
All right. Thank you.
And thank you, Onej, for sending that information.
No problem.
Okay, let's go to 6 York Street. I don't even know where that is.
The representative for 6 York.
It's really, it's
also
on the cusp
35
of our,
Avenue of the Americas.
yes, near,
Alessandro, I
it's
see
near
you.
Canal.
You over?
Oh, okay, thank you.
Just below Canal.
Yeah.
It's a little alley.
It's on it's on the edge of our turf.
It's actually facing 35 Avenue of the Americas, but on all the paperwork has 6 York Street. Just to clarify that. Alessandro, are you on? Okay, so you can unmute, Alessandro. Hello. Alessandro.
Yes, can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. You can go ahead.
Sorry, I couldn't hear before. I had a moment of panic. Good evening, everybody. My name is Alessandro Morandi, and I'm the attorney for the applicant, which is Botte Tribeca LLC. They are applying for a full liquor license at the restaurant that's within the Hilton Garden Inn in Tribeca. The address is 6 York Street, for a reason that I have yet to understand, but the address of the premises is 35 Avenue of the Americas, which is on the corner of 6th Avenue and I believe West Broadway. So they are applying for their full liquor license for a restaurant. Is going to be an Italian restaurant with, let's say Roman and Tuscan cuisine that fuse into one concept. The principals of Botte Tribeca have 3 other locations, one in Astoria, one in Upper East Side, and one in Brooklyn. And also they joined with another principal who is currently running an operation at a hotel in Lexington. And he was also involved with the Serafina restaurants all over the city. This is going to be, again, a quiet Italian restaurant who's going to offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the guests of the hotel. It's I believe it's 199, the maximum capacity of that premises. They're looking to keep things pretty much exactly as they are right now in terms of capacity and internal seating. So 150 seats plus 20 people at the bar. They will have very light background music. They don't plan to have any. I believe the previous tenant establishment was more of a bar and grill. They are trying to instead to run an Italian restaurant. So yes, there's going to be music, but it's going to be background to allow people to also have conversations and not be overwhelmed by the noise.
Let's go. I'll go back.
Yeah.
Do you have an existing sidewalk cafe there now?
No, we don't have a sidewalk cafe application yet. No, we're taking over. We're taking over the restaurant as a brand new application.
Okay, so you'd have to come back for a sidewalk.
Yes,
cafe.
we're gonna have to come back for a sidewalk cafe. Yes.
Is there a roof deck?
No, we only run the restaurant on the ground floor. We are
Okay.
not involved.
And you
with
will, and that restaurant will be open to the public as well. Am I
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it
All
is.
right. Okay, keep going. Onesh. Yeah, go on, sir.
As the application says, it's gonna be, there's not gonna be any live music. There's not gonna be any DJ. We believe that the concept that they applied in the other restaurants that they have in the city will be a successful one to allow public to enjoy an Italian dinner and also attract people to use the restaurant when they stay at the hotel.
All right, you have windows that open, right, in the restaurant?
We do have windows, yes, and right now I indicated 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We are flexible on that. I understand there's going to be seasons when in the winter I don't see them to be open. Probably in the summer, in the when it's super hot, they might not keep it open just to allow also the people inside the restaurant to enjoy the air conditioning. So we are flexible on that.
Well, I'm so confused now, because you have 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., but then you have 9 a.m., 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. on the weekends, and 6 to 9 p.m. On the weekdays. Am I correct?
You are correct.
So
What is
it's
the
not
confusion?
9 to 9. The hours are a little, we have to change that.
Well, 9 to 9, I believe it's the hours where we're gonna plan to keep the windows open.
Okay.
Not the restaurant.
I got you.
The restaurant is within the Hilton, and Hilton has brand standards that my client will have to follow in terms of like opening hours and closing hours. So
I got
that
it.
also should like ensure that the operation will run also in compliance with the Hilton brand standards, because also the landlord has an interest in making sure that we we run the business correctly and nobody has a problem with Hilton or
I got it.
cross problems.
All right,
Thank you.
keep going, Onej. Is there more to that? Yes, but no.
They need large venue.
Yes.
The assembly is
Yes.
the maximum capacity is 199. So and the
Yes.
capacity, the seat is 150. So we will have to apply for a place of assembly permit. Yes.
Well, there's more, but there's more to it than just place of assembly. There are additional obligations.
Requirements in terms of traffic and whatever. Do you intend to have what we call buyouts, big parties?
No,
There?
this is going to be no, because I you know, being within the Hilton, they're not allowed to let's say reserve the restaurant for private events because they have to provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the hotel guests.
Okay. Any more, Onej, on that?
No, I think that's it. If you want to see the oh. Right. Here we
I
go.
see it, yeah.
And they have to have the large venue
Venue, yeah.
and add it
Yes.
to their package, owners.
Yes.
Anything else? Any other questions?
Where exactly is the entrance to the
It's,
restaurant?
Up right
it's-
there.
The
It's
hotel.
On York, or
No.
is it on?
6th Avenue.
It's on
Sixth
6th
Avenue.
Avenue when it curves down towards West Broadway. It's a kind of a strange intersection there. It's the address is 35. I don't think I provided a picture of the exact entrance, but if you
Right
look at
next to the other, it's right next to the other bar that's there.
you mean the bar that's in the hotel?
Yeah,
We're taking over the space.
It's all one
you're taking
space,
over.
Mark.
You're taking over AOA.
Correct.
So okay, all right, that's what confused me for a second. So
Okay,
you're
I'm sorry
taking
about
over
that.
AOA. All right,
Yes,
and
we are.
all right. They had a sidewalk cafe there that sometimes would be intrusive onto the sidewalk, but you're coming back for that, right?
We are.
It's not grandfathered.
No.
Yes, we're gonna put it in the
Right,
resolution.
right,
They'll have to
okay.
come back. And I
And,
don't know, it's right by a subway stop. It's very complicated there. We'll see.
Yeah, it is. It's right by a subway stop right in front of the building. So we'll have to figure out
We'll
the
have to
correct
think
way to
about how
handle
it
it.
goes.
So are you changing any of the interior? Is the bar going to be the same?
The bar
taking-
is going to be there used to be two bars before in the AOA, and if you
Right.
look at the map, the one is kind of like circular or semicircle, and one is rectangular. We're going to keep only one, the semicircular one, and where the other, let's say, rectangular bar used to be. There will be a salad bar, mozzarella bar, something out of that line.
I'm surprised. Their place was always busy. I'm surprised they went out of business.
Who
Can speak
knows,
about
Mark?
that.
Just a comment.
That's
but
it.
good luck.
That's another kettle of fish.
Good luck.
Anyway, are there any other questions? Leave that. So if you can see the picture, Sandro, is that the entrance?
The one which says bar, grill, and pizza.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be to the left of where you see the bar. You see in front of the bar starts the, let's say, the coffee shed, I call them.
Yeah.
It's gonna be more towards the left of the picture, really on the intersection. I believe there's a picture, and I don't know if Onej has them, of the when we posted the notice that we posted.
Oh, the notice photos. Okay.
I don't know if I don't remember if one is far back enough that you can see where the entrance is.
There's a subway entrance right there as well, by the way.
Yeah, you can see it right there under the pizza sign. Yes, but it's kind of in the middle of the block of the whole block of the hotel. So the entrance is going to be
to the
a little
left
further south.
from our picture. I got
From our
it.
picture, left and south. You know, looking at the map
Yeah.
of the city.
All right. Mark, take your hand down if there are no more questions. And will someone
Call the question.
call the question?
Call the question.
Second.
Second, okay. Any recusals? Any abstentions? Any nays? Okay, Alessandro, good luck.
Thank you very much. We look forward to being in the community.
Well, we hope you'll be good.
Good neighbors.
Good neighbors.
We'll do our best. We'll do our
All
best.
right, thank you.
Thank you again. Bye-bye.
It's an official request to terminate.
And vote, yeah.
Okay, so
133 Duane Street.
Okay, then Donald, you are moved over. You can go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah, this is your one.
okay, let's put it up.
Okay.
Because I'm confused about this one, Donald. It's another hotel. No. Let's get to 133 Duane.
Did you skip one? I think you skipped my other one.
Hold on.
Yeah, 39.
39.
39. Is this 39? Yeah, this is 39 out.
Okay.
No,
I
you
just,
called 133, but this is 39, which should be very simple. If we-
Right, because it's the hotel. It's a hotel.
39 first and then 133.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you. So this one is the Hilton Garden Inn, and all we're doing is an alteration to remove the ground floor restaurant from the hotel license. The new operator of that restaurant is going to be filing their own OP, on-premises license for that restaurant space. So that's the only change.
Right. This is easy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Get this one right off your plate.
Okay. Can I have a question?
Second.
Okay. Any recusals? Any abstentions? All in favor? Go for it. Done, Donald.
Thank you. And then my client Elizabeth, if you're here, you can go home.
Go home. Let's go to
Okay, now
133.
133.
This is the
This
one
is
I
fun.
want.
This
to
is
understand.
your favorite one, Susan.
Don't get upset, Susan. Don't get upset.
I know.
I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you. Okay. All right. So I just want to make sure that my client Ishrat is on. I don't know that he's on. I think he's on a laptop, and I don't think he was able to get an raise your hand icon. If you can bring him in.
I have a Brian who's raised their hand as well.
No, it's Ishrat, Ishrat.
Ishrat, you can unmute.
Between what two streets?
Church and Broadway.
Yeah.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I think I
Okay.
should be on now.
So let me give you a little introduction, and then Ishrat can fill you in. This
Go
space,
through the application. First of all, you're going to have a disc jockey at this high-end Indian restaurant?
well, let me go through it and explain it. And then-
All right, Donald, go to it. I'll be quiet for 2 minutes.
Okay. So as far as I'm aware, what we found out, this was a restaurant, City Hall restaurant that was licensed, I think, for about 40 years, closed about 5 or 6 years ago. So it was licensed for a number of years and has been vacant. My client has a company, Spice Route. You probably don't have time to look them up while you're listening, but if you go to their website, they're really very impressive. The family has, it's a very high-end Indian restaurant, and they have been, they've had the restaurant that they're going to call Musafir is what's going to be the name of the New York restaurant. They've had that in Houston, Texas for the past 3 years. They've also had a restaurant in, of all places, Lagos, Nigeria for a number of years. They're looking forward to coming to New York. They're an experienced group. It is chef driven. I've attached to the questionnaire some bios of their chef, who is award winning, and a very interesting menu. It is fine dining on the ground floor. The cellar, and there's no DJ on the ground floor. The ground floor is only background recorded restaurant style music. The lower level will have food, but it is a little more casual. It is a little more loungy. It is not a club. It is a restaurant. But in order to set the mood, they'd like to have a DJ, although DJ is, and I'm sure you've heard this before, they're not hiring an outside DJ. They're not promoting anybody like that. It's just going to be a music curator. It's just someone that can be there, take the mood of the room, and select music real time instead of having something pre-recorded. Just something we'd like to have. The upstairs has 32 tables and 110 seats. The cellar, 25 tables and 102 seats. The only stand-up bar for customers is in the cellar. It's not a large bar. It only has 12 stools. It's still going to be background music. We've commissioned Alan Firestein of Acoustalog. He did a sound study. We've sent that to you. You have his sound report.
Oh my God, it's so extensive. I was ready to fall
Yeah,
apart.
well, for better or worse, he's probably the best acoustician in New York. He's very comprehensive, and he's recommended a number of
Yeah.
soundproofing measures, and we are going to work with him and do what we have to do. We've posted notices in a number of buildings. I think we may have also sent over the list of all the neighborhood buildings that we posted in. The building we are opening in is, I believe, a renovation, and I don't think it's occupied as of yet. There may be only one tenant in that building. Again, if you have an opportunity to go to the Spice Root Company website and you take a look at the facility in Houston, I think you'll be very impressed. I think it's going to be a really classy place. And with that, I'd like Ishrat to speak because he can give you a little bit of a better flavor. Before he does, let me just address hours. So they would like 11 a.m. to midnight during the week. They would like 2 a.m. on weekends, principally. Before you shake your head, let me just finish because I get paid to speak, and then you can knock me down.
I know.
So the only issue is down in the cellar because it's a little more casual. We'd like the opportunity. If you're going to come back and tell me that absolutely not, they'll take 1 a.m. as long as we can come back after we've been operating for 6 months or so and see if we can get it extended. But I think that they're willing to open with a midnight 1 a.m. And with that, let me turn it over to Ishrat if you want to give them a little flavor, introduce yourself, and let them know what's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. First things first, is my video visible? I'm not sure if anyone can see me.
We can't, but we can hear you, which is the most important.
Perfect. Exactly. Well, so my name is Ishrat. I'm here in Houston right now, is where we're operating Musafir. Musafir was conceptualized for the US, Houston being the first location, and now New York is going to be the second location. Let me give you a brief background about Musafir itself. So Musafir itself means traveler. So 2 of our executive chefs went on a 100-day journey through the 29 states of India, including the owners as well, which is my aunt and my uncle. So the idea is that we wanted to get these really rural, local recipes and show them to the world. So that doesn't just mean, so typically what people have perceptions for an Indian restaurant is it's a hole-in-the-wall restaurant. You walk in there, you fill yourself up to the brim, and then you walk out. What we at Musafir are typically doing is these are multi-million-dollar invested restaurants where you come in for an experience. We never want to call it saying that you're coming in for dinner. You're actually coming in for an experience, which means that as soon as you come in, the first things that's going to shock you completely is the space. You see an image right here. This is one of the dining spaces that we have in the restaurant. It's called the Sheesh Mahal, which translates to a palace of mirrors. So this is what we have in Houston right now. In Houston, we have about 6 different dining spaces depicting different stuff. For New York, it's going to be a lot of marble display. We wanted to kind of work with like a Taj Mahal inspired restaurant. So like I said, it's a full-on experience. You walk into the space, the first thing that you're going to be struck by is the ambience. Then is the music, then you come in, you get seated, is the service, then comes the food, then comes the drinks. So it's this whole experience really that we're trying to bring in together. And obviously we study New York. We are not targeting individuals who are in their 20s. I think our target clientele only starts at about 30, 35 is when they start from that age group, because it's going to be an expensive restaurant. Like I said, they're multi-million-dollar invested restaurants. But I myself, this is a family-driven restaurant. I did my undergrad in India first. Then I lived in Africa in Lagos for about 3 years. Then I did my MBA in hospitality management from Switzerland, which is the world's second best school. So for us, we're really striving to be one of the world's best Indian restaurants, and we really wanted New York to give New York that chance and be up there.
Um, we're used to high end. I just
Absolutely.
want you to
Of
know that.
course.
We have Tamarind on Franklin, which is
Yeah.
I wouldn't call a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
So we're used to it. I will say that you will not get 2 a.m.
Okay.
That just goes without saying. We're not going to do that. I think Sunday to Thursday to 12. I don't know how the committee feels. I think it's okay. And on weekends, I guess I would give you till 1 a.m. I'll see how my fellow members feel. You know, background music means no music can be heard in the street, and that
Correct.
it is people who live around there. And you are a large venue, so you have to really moderate your traffic and have some traffic control because we don't want cars hanging out there. People live on Duane Street. I don't have any more questions. When do you think you'll open, Donald and
think,
Ishrat?
late this year, December, November, December.
Okay. Are you expecting, okay. Anybody have any other any questions?
I do. They
I
have
just
not
wanted to say
built-
that there are lots of people living upstairs, next door, across the street, down the street. It's a narrow block, lots of residents. Noise is going to be a big factor. So just want to say.
No, well,
Yeah.
we're going to put it in. I mean, we're giving you reasonable hours, but you're really going to have to keep. Do you have windows that open onto the street?
No, ma'am, it's just going to be a door. Just
Okay.
like-
windows.
Yeah,
No, they said no
and
windows.
they gave us an extensive a
We need to
blueprint
monitor
for
people's side.
for the soundproofing. But it's a lot of residents, and you really are going to have to be very careful. And we're going to put that in the resolution as well. Does anybody have trouble with the hours?
We do have 3 hands up in the attendee section.
All right, call on them, please.
Okay, Brian, you're good to go. You can unmute.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello,
Brian,
we can hear you.
Okay. Yes, I live, my name is Brian Connolly. I live at 142 Duane Street. I'm directly across the street from 133. I've been here for quite some time. I've lived on Duane Street for over 15 years in total. I used to attend City Hall, and I do know of a problem with the hours of operation they had, where they were using the basement for weddings. And it became such a problem when the weddings let out that around midnight, I think they were closing, or 11:30. At that point, that there was so much traffic as the weddings were letting out, that the owner decided to stop doing night weddings because it was so loud outside from all the people coming out. Now, you guys are going to give them access to stay open till 1 o'clock in the morning. This is a very quiet street on the weekdays after 10 o'clock and on the weekends after 11 o'clock. I don't see how the same situation isn't going to occur again.
Well, excuse me. Thank you for telling us that. We can think about this.
Yeah.
Are there any other restaurants on the block?
Yes, many.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
What
the
are
little,
there?
the little diagram showed there were a large number of other establishments.
Yeah, go back, Onesh.
Buyouts.
So Ishrat, are you going to have weddings or big parties in that downstairs space?
No, ma'am. So the idea is that, of course, it's going to be a really, really beautiful space. We at the restaurant here as well, we've been operational for 3 years. We've only done a buyout once, which was also during lunchtime. So we'll be happy to work with the rules. But of course, like I said, it is a business. Like in Houston, we did agree to it and we did it once. But we no weddings or anything like that. Just it's going to be focused towards dining and towards the experience that we want to offer, which revolves around our food philosophy.
So Karen, go on. My suggestion would be there would be no buyouts, at least the first year. I think that that's a reasonable amount. Go on. I mean, you have a lot of space and you can have a lot of people, but go on, Karen.
Okay, there are two other restaurants clearly on the block. One of them, Marathi, I think has late, I don't want to say late night past midnight hours, but they will be nearby, and they have two exposures on Church and on Duane. I think 2 a.m. is too late
Well,
for.
they're not going to have 2 a.m.
Okay, that's fine. They're a newcomer. Maybe they can come back. We'll reevaluate.
Yeah, in a year. I'm not going to
Yeah.
do it sooner. Francis, go.
Their stipulation for large venue is not complete. So
they
if you
have
could
to
please
refill it out.
Have them.
I think we were just waiting to see what develops, and we can then fill that out and sign it. But we will get that done, and we'll get that to you.
Okay.
If you have, so we're not going to allow you any buyouts this
No
first year.
buyouts the first year.
Yeah,
You're talking about a full buyout.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
They've got 110 people down there. That's a lot of people.
yeah. Yashrad, is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Yes, for the first year, and then after
Yeah.
that, just how we.
Well,
be.
you'll come back. Let's see how you are.
Yeah,
Pardon me?
absolutely.
That's including lunches?
Yeah,
Correct.
no buyouts. Done.
Correct. No buyouts for the whole restaurant. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Agree.
I unless anybody, are there any other hands up?
Yes, we have 3 hands up.
Okay, go for it.
Murakami, go ahead.
Yes, hi. I'm Shin Murakami. I live actually right across the street from City Hall on the 2nd floor, and City Hall was extremely noisy. I mean, Thursday nights, you could hear them coming out of the restaurant, and this is just a regular old restaurant. There was no music there or anything, and even when you say, 12 o'clock or 11 p.m., that means cars are lined up from 8 to 10. People don't come out for a long time, and then it takes them forever. They're outside smoking and chatting and doing all kinds of other things. And so, that hour, even at 12 a.m., I'm completely against it. I mean, 2 is completely out of the question, but 12 a.m. means people are pouring out at 12 and then sticking around and hanging out until 1 a.m. And you get all kinds of other problems. So, I'm just really concerned. The whole DJ thing too, like, okay, so the DJ is going to be there just to play background music. Well, then just play background music. There's no need for DJs. DJs come in, they come in with their friends. They want to start showing off their skills. So when you say DJ, I don't follow you that that's not going to be something way more than background music, because if it's just background music, then there's no need for a DJ. If you want to curate your background music, you can do that on Spotify. It's very easy. You can curate, you can mix, you can do all kinds of things. You don't need physical people coming from all over to do a DJ show. And I just think that, when you say DJ and you have some guest DJ coming in, that's targeting some other audience that you want coming in. I'm totally against that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Nikos. Go ahead, Nikos.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Nikos Panagiotopoulos. I live next door at 129 Duane. I'm the president of the board at 129 condominium. So I'm expressing my own views, but also the views of the entire of all the owners in this building. And there's 6 families of us that live here, and I've lived here since 2010. So a couple of comments. And I also want to give you a little bit of a background about this project that you probably have no idea about. So let's start with the first comment. When City Hall was here, it was a normal restaurant with, as you know, very large, with a decent sized bar. And it never gave us a lot of problems in terms of noise But at times when they had private events, including in what's now the cellar, there was a lot of noise when those things were happening. Now, the reason why there's a lot of noise, and this hasn't come up, I don't know if you see the sketches in front of you. When you look at the restaurant, at the back side of the restaurant, there is an inner courtyard that's being shared by 5 or 6 buildings. The restaurant extends through the inner courtyard, and think of a sunroom that a house might have in the country. They essentially have a sunroom inside the inner courtyard to get more light. So it's full of skylights, and it's got kind of like French door looking windows. So when there are a lot of people, let's say when they have the events, and it's not just a bar shutting down at 11 o'clock at a restaurant because nobody drinks at 11 o'clock at a restaurant, it's not a bar. When you have a lot of people, because there's all this glass inside the courtyard, and there's no insulation on the glass, it becomes very, very noisy. In this inner courtyard, all the bedrooms for the surrounding buildings are there. So all our floors have master bedrooms essentially looking in the courtyard. So does, as far as I know, 137 Duane. And I'm sure a lot of the buildings on Thomas have bedrooms in the front because their only sunlight, sorry, in the back, because the only sunlight is in the front, and the sunlight, that's where your living room is. So you need to understand the architecture of the block to understand the noise issue that this will have at the ground floor. So that's the first comment. The second comment is the background of this whole story. So back a few years ago, when this building was being bought by the developer, which is an Austrian-based real estate investor, we the board received an invitation to meet a bunch of people. So we meet, remember they bought, you also probably don't know this, they bought Antiqueria, which was the one retail store we have at 129 Duane. So they bought this, we thought, okay, whatever, let's see what they have to say. So they sat us down. This is the head of the company with a number of sound engineers, people that have to do with clubs. And the board was invited, 5 or 6 people were there. They basically told us, look, we bought your ground floor. We also have the storage underneath, which is essentially all the Duane side part of the building. And what we want to do is we want to run a club, a lounge club downstairs. We want the board's permission to the board to give us a comfort letter with that before we even do anything. So I thought that the request was entirely inappropriate because we would obviously not subvert the desire, the needs of the owners. Like, why are you asking me this? I'm never going to give you this as a board member. And then they also made it clear that there would be a lot of noise and they were going to try to mitigate it the way a club does. And so we turned this thing down. They ended up buying Antiqueria. The reason they couldn't do this is because the wall between the 2 buildings is a common element of the condominium. So they couldn't pierce the basement to do this thing. And my common sense objection was, you have a massive restaurant upstairs and you want to connect these big basements. You clearly want to run a club. This is no lounge. So I think it's important for you guys to understand the background. This is not going to be, quiet. It's going to be noisy. I think there's no reason why you should have anything other hours of a normal restaurant that has maybe a little bit of a bar afterwards. You can serve people downstairs as part of a restaurant. You can have background music, but I think the rest is sort of quite extraordinary and extensive. And one last point, one of our owners is the CEO of Columbia Records. So he sold his company to them and became the CEO. He has a recording studio in the apartment. And the only way, and there's no noise, and the only way there is no noise, he knows this very well, is you basically float this room on this weird suspension thing, and that's how we don't hear it. And anytime you have something where you have music, this is a 100-year-old building with wooden frame. If you have music in a wooden frame building or next to it, it goes all the way up and down, and there's no way around it. So sorry I took so long, but I think you should know.
Thank you. Okay. Any other comments?
Yes, we have Trisha as well. Trisha, you can go ahead.
And then I think we're going to stop the comments, and I'll call on you back, Ishrad. I want to see if my community wants anything, my
Trisha,
members.
Can you
Go on.
Yeah. Go ahead, Trisha.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I am Trisha Joyce. I am a CB1 member in a different committee. I'm also a neighbor of this establishment and really wanted to come tonight because I've been here quite a long time, been able to see City Hall and some other iterations in this space. I'm also aware that we have 2 preschools on this street. And we've had a lot of problems at this spot before. Shin, who is my neighbor, brought up the first one about City Hall. As a simple restaurant, it was very loud. I really appreciated the previous person, I think is Nikos, who spoke about the wood frame building. We get a lot of reverberating noises in these landmarked buildings. And, you know, only now do we have a group of restaurants who, you know, Fonda and all of our restaurant neighbors are terrific neighbors. They wind down around 10:30, 11. They don't have people hanging out in front of the building, and that's why it works. This building has just been redone. It has an iron landing with glass eyes. It is a conduit for noise for anything in the basement. We can hear conversations of people in the basement under our building that has exactly the same kind of structure. So it is a completely inappropriate place for any sort of after hours anything. The only appropriate use of this space, in my opinion, and I've been on the board for 15 years, is a restaurant. And we're really excited actually about this Indian restaurant. We've heard it's coming. We're happy to see someone in the space again, but there's nothing other than a restaurant that should ever be permitted here. And there are spots in the neighborhood where it would work on some of the, you know, the main arteries that have, you know, less residential people right around them, not this kind of building. You know, recently we approved a Susan Knows, you know, something on Reed Street, but their basement is underneath a commercial space. There are no residents. There is no landing. There's no conduit for the noise. It's, you know, a completely different scenario. So I just want to speak as someone who's been here a long time, who has approved things and also called things into question when there's a problem. This is a problem. A DJ is a problem in this location. And I would agree that background noise at a restaurant, background playlists, completely fine. We have had a precedent for that in the neighborhood. Anything that is going to cause people coming out onto the street at that hour, any sort of DJ in the basement will lead to dancing. It will lead to people hanging outside. And most importantly, the way the building is built, that noise will travel. And I'm sorry, but it is completely inappropriate for this block.
Thank you, Trish. All right, I have a couple of hands up from the outside. I'd like to call on them, then I'll call on Eugene. And then I want members of the committee to think about the hours and to think about how we want to proceed with this, all right?
Sam, you may unmute.
Okay.
Sam Hoffman. Sam. There you go.
I just wanted to back up what Nikos had said earlier. I am at 137 Duane, which is the street, the building directly to the west of the building in question. It's the building that Fonda is in. I'm on the board of my building. And my bedroom and all the bedrooms in my apartment face the interior shaftway. So I just wanted to add credence to what Nikos said about the glass in the back of the building. We could when City Hall was there, we could even smell them cooking garlic back through those glass. That's where the garlic fumes came, and we smelled them all the time, and we heard them all the time. So just to reiterate, any noise that happens late will be funneled directly into our bedrooms. So thank you for considering that.
Thank you.
We have Mark and then Linda. Mark, go ahead.
This is Mark.
Yes,
okay.
Go ahead.
Good, thank you guys. So I live in 138, directly across the street from the location in question. I moved here with my wife and newborn in 2021. Basically, the reason we used to live in Soho before we had a child, which is, you know, a different type of neighborhood. One of the reasons why we moved to Tribeca was because of the fact that it's a very family-oriented neighborhood. For those of you who live here, I'm sure you've been around, you know, during Halloween. It's quite remarkable to see all the kids running around. My infant right now is sleeping, actually now 18 months, is sleeping right to the left of me. So the idea, you know, that we would have to deal with a meatpacking district style nightclub directly across the street with admission lines and all these kinds of things and loud music, I think is totally unconscionable in this type of neighborhood. I mean, I can't even imagine it. Meatpacking district, that's another story. But here in Tribeca, I think it's, you know, I just don't see how it fits. Your restaurant is another story. You know, we'd all be excited to have a nice restaurant across the street or in the neighborhood. That's always welcome. But, you know, a late night nightclub, I just think doesn't work. And just wanted to add my 2 cents.
Thank you.
Thanks much.
Listen, I hope you let me respond to that when everyone's done.
When the time comes.
Linda, sorry. Linda, you can go ahead.
And then we're done with, okay?
And then we have one more.
All right, we'll do the
Yeah.
one more. Please keep it to about a minute, everybody. I've got to move this along, but we're listening to you. Go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm also a resident and a homeowner across the street at 134 and 138 Duane Street. I'm also on our board of our co-op. And I think I can speak for a lot of our board members and shareholders. This is a very quiet, family-oriented street and neighborhood. And while the majority of Duane Street residents would welcome a restaurant with limited hours, we, I think, overall are quite shocked to learn of a possible nightclub. It seems like this nightclub notion has been kept kind of secret and quiet until this last minute. And I think we at 134 and 138 Duane Street are probably adamantly against a nightclub across the street. We have grave concerns about noise, alcohol, drunkenness, partying, crowds, traffic, trash, and the noise, I think, above all. Other restaurants on the street are already having complaints about outdoor dining and noise, and they're having to, you know, curb their outside dining, you know, after like 9 o'clock-ish. There's also been, you know, late night establishments on Reed Street that recently, in the most recent past years, have had to close down due to disruption in the neighborhood. And I think Duane Street, there's never been a nightclub on the street. This is not the kind of neighborhood that would welcome or want a nightclub, and I think we would all be very opposed to having one opening at this time.
Thank you, Linda. All right,
Okay.
one more.
Thomas, you can go ahead. I see you're unmuted, Thomas. You can go ahead. Thomas, we can't hear you. In the meantime, I will read Thomas's message since he is on a plane currently, which is probably why we can't hear him. I'm currently on a plane, but was in charge of construction. Nikos's comments are wrong. While there are windows to the rear, they were replaced with new sound insulating double-paned windows in the course of construction for several $100,000. While it may be true that sound may have emanated during City Hall's tenure, this is now practically soundproofed to the ear.
Okay. All right. Jean, go on, and then I have a proposition.
I was part of the original negotiations when City Hall opened years and years and years ago. And we were able, because there were so many people living back then, and I'm talking, this is the 80s, to negotiate a midnight closing for City Hall. And that midnight closing carried on to all of the restaurants that came afterwards on Duane Street and it's actually written into the codicil, the lease agreement for the Duane Street Hotel. And I would suggest that be continued with this new development. I'm very, very concerned about what I'm hearing in terms of the use of this beautiful reconstruction and the effort that was put into it. Yes, indeed, this is a small Revolutionary era street, very tiny. And not only is it tiny, but it's low. The windows on the upper floor is very low to the sidewalk, so that we hear. I live on Duane Street as well. I've lived there since 1971, and it was for warehouses where the wagons could very easily reach the upper floors. And so the floors are close to the ground, and you can hear things very, very easily. The buildings are close to the sidewalks. I'm going to vote against this because I don't feel that we're being really straight with what's going on in there. I know the basement of City Hall. We went through it when it was first turned into a restaurant, and the whole street on both sides have open vaults, so you can hear everything that's going on underneath you. So you can imagine the noise for any kind of activity that in the basement. I am telling you, we need to sit down as neighbors with the new owners and explain to them that we are all living together, very close quarters, and we need to have a very realistic closing time. I suggest 12 o'clock, 7 days, and no kind of recorded music whatsoever, because we can hear it through the walls.
Okay. So I'm going to make, before I hear from Donald or anybody, I want to raise this, and then I want my committee to respond. From what I've heard and what I understand and what I've been thinking about is that I would propose a Sunday closing at 10 p.m., Monday to Thursday at 11 p.m., and Friday and Saturday midnight. I would also propose that there be no live music to begin with, and let's see what the DJ, the background music, how that works. I'm concerned because I do know the block, and I know he has put in a lot of money with soundproofing. And I would say that not to necessarily change, but I would give the applicant 6 months and then come back for a review. But that would be my where I would go with this.
So Susan, if I can pick up on some of that, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your suggestions. If I can make a few comments before the committee votes, and then I'd like my client to address certain points. First of all, the notion that this is a nightclub, I don't know where that is possibly coming from. For us to propose a midnight and 1 a.m. close with no live music, there's no dancing here. This is not a nightclub. You have to look at the menu we are proposing. You have to look at the chef that we are hiring. This is an award-winning chef who got an award for, I think, one of 29 rising stars in the year 2020 as a chef. Take a look at this menu. This is not a nightclub. And it's not a meatpacking venue. The C of O for this building specifically permits a restaurant in the cellar, specifically says that with the occupancy we want. It specifically permits a restaurant on the ground floor. That is, as of right, zoning and the certificate of occupancy. That's what we are. A suggestion that we haven't been forthright and honest, I don't know where that is coming from. Everything is in our papers. We submitted a sound report. We commissioned Alan Firestein, who is not inexpensive, to go in. He did a complete examination. You've heard some stuff about the glass ceiling that's incorrect. He has recommended in a page and a half of soundproofing measures we can take. We are going to engage in soundproofing measures, probably beyond what's necessary, but if it's necessary, it will be done. The volume of the music is going to be background recorded. To suggest that on the ground floor we can't have background recorded music and as a restaurant, I don't know of any restaurant that doesn't have background recorded music.
I
And
don't
we are
think we're
certainly
so,
going to have that. Let me address your points, Susan. First of all, there's no live music. We never said anything about live music. I'm going to let Ishrat comment, but I think we would be agreeable to opening up without a DJ in the cellar, and we'll come back between 6 and 12 months. We'll come back after 6 months of operation, not 6 months from today. 6
Right.
months of operation, show you that we are a bona fide, high-class, high-end restaurant, and then we can have a discussion about it. But as a measure of good faith, I think, and Ishrat will confirm, I think we can take that off the table for now. I think the hours you propose, I again have to defer to him. I think they're too early. Closing at 10 p.m. means basically no one can come in after 8 o'clock to sit and have a meal.
I didn't say, that's Sunday.
Right, but
Sunday, I'm very rigid about Sunday recently.
I will let my client
We
address.
said,
Even an 11 o'clock close means that, you know, when you're talking about a high end, and in the cellar, it's an omakase restaurant. This is not a bar or a nightclub.
Omakase is not really Indian, but let's go on.
That's
But
okay.
wait,
It's
Donald,
still
I
high-end.
was,
People sit for a long time. So let me have my client
oh, okay,
address.
but I want you to understand what I'm proposing.
Yes, I do.
I'm
And I just
proposing
want to talk
Monday to
about-
Thursday, 11.
Yes, I got that. And Friday, Saturday, midnight. And
Midnight.
talking about, you know, all these people spilling out in the street in the closing hour. A restaurant, you know, this is not a performance venue. This is not a catering facility. This is a restaurant. And there is an ebb and flow of people. And there's a busy hour. There's a time when you get the most number of people that probably come in between, you know, 8 and 10 o'clock at night. And then they slowly exit. You don't have 100 people walking out the door, all at a closing hour and just standing around. People eat, they want to go home. So you're not going to have black cars parked in the street, especially these days with Ubers. People call and the Uber comes and they go. They don't park in the block and wait around. So, you know, look, this is a high-end restaurant. It is not late night. And I will leave it then to my client to address the question of hours.
So thank you so much, firstly, for everyone for giving us your thoughts. The nightclub is completely wrong. I'm so sorry. We're going to have our wine cellar downstairs, and majority of it, yes, Susan, I completely understand, but we're going to be one of the first Indian restaurants in the world to do an omakase experience. It's going to be a lot of ceviches going out, but it's all Indianized. We got featured in 2020 by Forbes as one of the top destinations in the world to visit, and a ceviche was the cover picture of it. Houston only got mentioned because of Musafir. The clientele that you all are thinking is not what we're going to cater to. This is going to be a very extensive fine dine restaurant. I do understand that you all are thinking as a bar to be a nightclub. This is going to be a really sophisticated bar below Duane Street. When we got the property, it had all of this brick finishing. So it's going to be a really small bar. And the idea is that you finish your dinner and you go there for a nightcap. Again, I am so sorry, just how Donald mentioned as well, we are not planning to be a nightclub because we're not catering to that kind of clientele. And for your closing hours as proposed, Susan, as well, what we really want to try and focus, what the whole business model is, like I said, we want to try and take Indian cuisine to a different level. We are proposing a lot of tasting menus. A tasting menu is going to be probably a 10 to 12 course meal, which is going to take you at least 2.5 hours. You have to realize, I'm not sure if we're going to be fully sold out at 5 p.m., but for us, the way we are, the experience that we want to propose, I see a lot of 7:30, 8 p.m. diners coming in as well. But
2.5 hours works with my hours. I got you, Ishrat. I want to hear from my committee members, and then I want to bring this to a close. I had to, I understand you're not what was there before, and that there was clearly some confusion around the DJ and music. And we understand the courtyard and whatever else is going on. So I will stick to my proposals. You can come back. I would prefer it in a year, but you're not going to open till the fall, and so we would give you at least till the summer to come back to us and see. Jean, I don't want to have any more discussion. I think it's enough. Everybody has explained what they wanted to say, and unless you have something new, I'm proposing those hours, and if there's anybody else on the committee that wants to deal with this, please let me know.
Mariama has her hand up.
Okay, tell me I can't see them.
Mariama, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about the potential traffic issues enough. It's a one-way street, and the widest portion is further down by Greenwich. Looking at this drawing, this seems to be further up where it gets more and more narrow as it goes up toward Broadway. And wherever in between West Broadway and Broadway the restaurant is, if it's going to be a large venue and if it's going to be a lot of cars in front,
Sure. No.
I'm saying it doesn't matter where it is in relation to if there's traffic buildup, then it's going to affect the rest of the block going up. And it's a one-way street. There's a firehouse on that street. There could be an emergency. So I think we need to talk a little bit more about them. And it was like barely even mentioned. As far as the music, if it's really background level, I don't care what kind of music they use. If it's a DJ, but this background level for us means that it's not going to be coming outside. If that's the case, I don't care if somebody's singing it live, if it's a DJ, if it's elevator music, whatever, as long as it doesn't emanate into the neighbors. That would be my concern. But I am concerned about the potential traffic problem. And I think that part of the confusion came from the fact that the proprietor described it as not a restaurant, as opposed to what Donald just said. He said not a restaurant, an experience. So I think based on that and what people are familiar with from the past is where we got this idea that, it's not a restaurant and the type of experience it's going to be. I don't think that came out of thin air. I think that came from this conversation that's been had tonight.
I just want to say, I think creative people in the restaurant business that have a great concept view it as more than just a meal. They view it as a dining experience. So I don't think anything was meant beyond that in terms of it being a performance or anything. I understand.
I'm just saying where I think the confusion came from between that and people's prior experience, not to keep using the word experience, but people's prior experience with the location, I think is from where that confusion came.
I appreciate that. I understand that.
Thanks, Mariama. I think Mariama's point, Donald and Ishrat, is that there has to be some kind of commitment to some kind of traffic control out there if you're having 110 people, whatever, with all the Uber cars, just to be cognizant of it and to understand that creates, a problem for people living on the street.
I think we could agree to monitor that, Ishrat. I think you can have someone monitor that.
No, absolutely. That's completely understandable. Like I said, we want to be good neighbors. So please, I hear everyone's points and I definitely agree to that.
Smokers talking outside.
Nothing to worry about.
I can't have secondary talk. Okay, who else? Jean, you want a last word?
Two things. The firehouse, the firemen all double park their cars 1 block up. So you have one tiny little lane, 1 block up, which is very difficult. We also now have the state police right at the corner, and they park their cars around the corner and also on Duane Street. So we right now have a serious parking shortage and double park car issue. That's number one. Number two, from your own text I read tonight, it says the noise will be loud and will be coming up through the sidewalk. It's in your own text. And the word acoustic noise is mentioned time and time and time again. So clearly somebody is aware that there is going to be a noisy situation. And that word is used a lot more than you find in most restaurant presentations that we see here at the board. So I am very, very concerned I like Sue's hours. I think they make sense. And if you're a legitimate restaurant, you'll do just fine. People will go out for the food if it's a legitimate restaurant. And I think if we give you 6 months or a year to see how quiet you can be, the food will speak for itself.
Thanks,
Pat
Jean.
may remember one of the last meetings that we had for quality of life before the pandemic was this group from Duane Street, people that were residents that were unable to park even for a second to unload their groceries. And they came to us for special help. Do you remember that, Pat? Duane Street is really, really problematic. So just with,
Well, I
that's
think
my
they,
piece on it.
Ishrat has said, and we can put
Yeah.
it in the resolution, that they will help monitor the street. There's only so much they can do if the firemen are double parking and whatever the hell else is going on. I mean, I want to be reasonable. I like
So
the.
I can support your hours, so yeah, Susan. I'm fine with
Okay,
that.
okay. So does anybody else, I can't see the screen, Onej, from the committee have a question or concern?
I see no hands anywhere.
All right, so with my hours,
Wait,
with the
Susan?
whole, yeah,
I have one. Did we discuss garbage pickup and deliveries?
it's all in their proposal. It's
Okay.
written and it seems okay to me. I
Okay.
mean, you'll have to see it, but it seems all right. It's not late at night. It seems to be, and there are other groups on the block, I think they said they would deal with, but I may be wrong on that one. So I want to be very clear on the hours, all right? So we all understand. We're going to, what I am proposing is Sunday at 10 o'clock, Monday to Thursday till 11, and Friday and Saturday till midnight. And this is for at least 6 months from when they open, not now, but from when they open. I want to be very specific about that.
Susan, can you throw Thursday into the weekend?
No, I want to be responsive. I know the block. Donald, let's see. If after 6 months, life is okay, we'll deal with it. You can come back. All right. I'm not saying you can't come back. I'm not agreeing to anything, but you can come back. If you're going to open in October or November, you'll have the summer to come back and see how you're doing, but let's see how you do. That's number one. And number two, that you are going to be careful of the courtyard, and you're going to make sure that the way I read it, that there's all this new soundproofing, etc., and that there will be no DJ downstairs, that downstairs will have music, but it will be that nobody hears outside, and there will not be any. That's the way I understand it. Does anybody have anything else that I've missed or to add? Brian, we're taking a vote. I can't, I'm not supposed to really call on you. We're trying to do the best we can, and I'm proposing this. And I think it's reasonable for everybody. And why we do these things, I always tell you, is because if they agree to it, we have something on record, and we have something to go to the SLA if they don't. And we're going to give them a shot. Do I have a call? Can I have
Call the question.
There is no outdoor dining. Am I correct, Donald?
There are some seats within the property line. There's no sidewalk cafe.
I don't think outdoor
What does that
dining.
mean?
What there?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
There's a platform in the front. We show it on our plans. It's in our papers.
Right.
We disclose.
And people will sit there and do what?
Eat. There are tables.
So there is outdoor dining.
It's right in the front. If you go down, see that in the front?
No.
Donald, how many tables and chairs?
How many tables? Yeah.
Let me look. Hold on.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. On the
I think
outside,
we.
there are 7 tables. There are 7 tables outside.
All right, we're going to
So,
keep the.
Susan, on that one, it's within the property line, so that's different. It's not a sidewalk cafe, but we can opine on hours
I
We
would
would
give
close
them,
it by, we would close it by 10 and 11. That's not a problem.
So should be noted.
it will note it. That's fair enough. 10 during the week, from
10.
Sunday to Thursday, and 11 on Friday and Saturday.
Yes.
All right. Okay? Can I have a
Are
call to
those hours
question?
for the outside seating as well?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
I mean,
One
that's for
question.
the outside seating. For the inside, it's a Sunday a 10 and Monday to Thursday 11 and then midnight for the
Second.
Friday and Saturday. Second, okay. Any recusals? Any abstentions? Any noes? All right, it passes. I wish you good luck. Be good neighbors, and you'll come back after you're
Susan,
opened.
I appreciate your work on that. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thanks a lot.
From your opening.
All right, 6 months.
Yes, from the opening. It'll be so
Opening.
noted.
From
Yes,
the
yes,
opening,
yes.
understood. Yep. Thanks, everyone.
you.
Have a good night.
Good night. All right, guys, I don't want this to go on forever. So we're done. We're going to the financial district.
They're easy.
140 Broadway,
Yeah.
lower lobby.
Yeah.
That would
It's-
be Lindsay. I see you.
It's basically, Lindsay, it's a no-brainer, everybody. I hope you've read them, but let's go through it. It's
Sure.
7 to 7. All right. I think, Lindsay, what is the maximum
280.
280? You
So it's a
you
large
can't
venue.
have we're not going to give you your first year from time to time buyouts. Wait, you have a number of seats as 86.
So this again
Public
is
capacity and seating capacity is different.
this is a cafe within an office building, so it's primarily going to serve the building's tenants, but we do have to have it open to the general public to qualify for our license. We were only looking for about 2 to 3 private events per month, and when we were here last month, you thought that you would be able to give us 2 per month.
I did. Where was
You did.
I? Are you sure it was me?
I promise. And we didn't get our approval last month because we didn't have the traffic plan, so that's why we're coming back with our traffic plan.
Yeah.
And no weekends, just Monday through Friday, 7 to 7, with the events being able to potentially go until 11 p.m. at the latest, twice per month.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? You know where it is, everybody?
And just in case this affects anything, we are underground, but we were seeking entertainment at background level, either piped in music or a jazz or acoustic performer, which would also be at background level.
Okay, the background is background. All right. Keep going, Inej. Please. You will have security personnel?
Building security.
Yeah. And if you have a large venue, you will have more than building security?
I have
don't think it's
Mark DePiro and Eve Chang on with me. I just want to make sure they can confirm that's the case.
Mark, I'm sorry, who? What are the names?
Mark DePiro.
Yes, okay.
And
Mark,
the
you
other
can speak.
person is Eve Chang.
Okay, Eve, I'll just move you both over. You may unmute.
Okay. So Mark and Eve, would you be able to just answer the question about security being present?
Yes, anytime they have 175 people.
Can you
Okay.
speak up, Mark?
Yes, anytime over 75 people, we'll have a security person,
And
additional security person.
yeah, and we'll put that in the resolution and the STIP, and also that you will monitor if there is heavy duty traffic or any kind of traffic for your buyouts. If we're going to give you 2, that you will make sure that there is some traffic control.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
And those buyouts are just going to be for the corporate building tenants. It won't be,
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Uber is Uber, Lindsay.
Sure. No, that's
That's
totally
what
fine.
Mark was talking about before. And it's for the people who live around or walk around, that's what the complication is. So with those additions, if nobody has any questions,
Call a
can
question.
I have a call the second? I need a second.
Second.
Okay. Any recusals?
Yeah, I'm going to abstain. I didn't really catch it.
Okay, Karen's abstaining. Any other abstentions? Any no's? Okay, it goes. Go, Lindsay, go home.
I can't, I'm on your next matter as well.
Oh, pardon my language. All right, World Trade Center.
Okay, so this is my
Okay.
last one, I promise. Here we have corporate catering. This is Restaurant Associates once again. They were the earlier matter on the agenda that we discussed on Greenwich Street. So I just wanted to mention that to make the connection because they have been a licensee at the other location for the past 20 years. So they do have a good history in this particular district. This particular location is the corporate headquarters for McKinsey and Company, which is a well-known corporate consulting firm. The floors we are seeking to license are numbers 60 through 64. Similar to the other location, although we are licensing a block of 4 floors, we're not going to be simultaneously using the entire space at one time. We will only seek to have 2 bars in place, which will be in the primary event space on the 60th floor. In general, events will only cater to about 50 individuals at one time, even though our total capacity is higher. When events do take place, they will be for McKinsey employees and their guests only, with no service to the general public. We are looking for hours of operation 7:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. And we only wish to have background music with no other type of entertainment. And there's just one outdoor area, which is a terrace attached to the 60th floor. And I forgot to mention before I started digging into this, I have Kelly Curran with me. I would just like to unmute her in case you have any questions that she should be responding to.
How many people are on the, can be put on the terrace?
Let me just see. Kelly, are you unmuted? Would you be able to answer the terrace question?
Hi, it's Kelly. You could probably fit about 50 to 60 people on the terrace. It's also the 60th floor is the cafe space, so it's predominantly used at lunchtime. But there are events held inside on that space where people could go outside. There's no bar or food set up outside though.
Yeah.
But they could take a drink outside.
Correct.
Yes.
I would suggest that if you have an event, there are people who live across from there. Where is what side is the terrace on? Does it face west, north, south? Where is it? South, right?
The Oculus is south.
Yeah, I'm not sure in the direct. Let me look.
Would you happen to know which street the terrace faces? That might help.
Let me just look at a map to reference.
Colleen from our office says the terrace faces south.
Yeah, it faces the Oculus.
Yes, right here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
He lives on that side.
What?
And there's a compass right there on the diagram there, if you can see off to the side.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
What, Pat?
No one lives on that side. We live
Right,
on
it's
the
the
other
Oculus.
side.
That's it.
Okay. Unless there's any other questions from my committee, Pat, you don't have anything else? Your hand was up.
I'm just always curious when they put, something on because, the PAC is going to be opening, they're going to be having events. Where do they expect people to pick up their black cars or their Ubers?
I don't recall off the top of my head, but we did submit a traffic plan, so we have all of those details attached. I believe we are noting that in the front of the building on Greenwich Street is where car pickup would be.
Yeah,
And
Monday,
that,
Friday.
yeah.
Oh, no.
No,
can't
cars
be.
are not allowed on Greenwich Street.
No. So they're gonna have to walk somewhere.
Can
Yeah.
walk to the side street, we can stipulate.
What
Uh,
side street?
yeah, you have to see which side street, which is there. VC? No, there's no traffic
Can't pick
there
up,
either.
that's why I'm curious, because you can't drive on VC, you can't drive on Liberty, we don't need a bunch of cars on Church or Trinity. And so they'd have to be on the highway, or they'd have to walk a couple of blocks. So
I will
I'm
have
curious.
to defer to Kelly on that. She would be more familiar with the building than I am. Kelly, would you know?
I mean, I think for the most part, people take public transportation as we're right over the path, and Fulton Street subway lines are right there. I have never seen cars lined up outside the building.
I mean, they can't, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I'm assuming there is a side street designated that the
We-
McKinsey employees are aware of.
I just wanted to mention, we don't anticipate people taking black cars, but because, you know, last month we appeared with the last matter that was held over, you know, we needed to, it was my understanding, designate an area where black cars could pick up, but
Yeah.
that doesn't, for here, I don't know that they would truly be in use.
All right, well, it's your, they
It's
can't
something
be
you
on
should think
Church.
about.
And we're just gonna make, you know, we will put it in there that, you know, they can't be on the big street. I mean, there's no stopping on the big streets. So they will have to take public transportation or meet somebody somewhere else. I don't know. All right. Are there any other questions from the committee? If not, will someone call the question?
Call the question.
Second?
Second.
All right. Any recusals? Abstentions? Nays? Okay. Goodbye, Lindsay.
All right, thank you so much.
All right. All right.
Alrighty.
All right. We've got a few more. We're gonna get out of here, I promise. This is
One more.
suited.
One more.
Only one more? Oh, right. Is that suited?
Yep.
I
Yes,
have to
suited.
say, I'm partial to it, so you have to watch me because I've had coffee there. They opened during the pandemic and they're a bunch of nice guys, and I know now realize they want to open up a little more, but they're, that's my preface. So who's their lawyer? Onej and,
You guys are unmuted, right?
Hi. Yes,
Hi.
we're here, no lawyers, just the two of us, the Yeah, owners. yeah. And thank you, Susan, for that. I Yeah. thought I recognized the face. That's
they
great.
make a good macchiato.
Beautiful.
Anyway, unless anybody has trouble with it, what's your maximum population you can have at one time in your place? Let's go back, Onej, so I can see, please.
We can fit about,
15.
sorry.
15 seats?
Yeah, about 15.
I'm sorry, what did you want, Susan?
No, it's fine. Just keep scrolling up. It's recorded music. Stop. Right. Keep going.
Oh,
Next page.
yeah.
Yeah. Next page. Okay. Well, it's does anybody have any questions? I wish them a lot of luck. They're really good guys. Anyway.
You okay with their hours?
Yeah, what are these hours?
Yep.
Their hours
Page
are
4.
there. They are. Go 11.
7 to 11, Monday to Thursday, 7 to 1 a.m., Friday and Saturday, 11 p.m. on Sunday.
I would make it 10 on Sunday because you know who I am. But there really not a lot of, I mean, there's some people in the building. There's not a lot of residential around there, if I
In
remember
which two streets?
correctly. It's between, tell me, gentlemen,
William and Nassau. Yeah, on John.
on John between William
And Nassau.
Nassau.
There are a lot of people there.
There's a lot of people
No, there's
there.
people, but it's
There's a bunch
there's a
of
there's a
cars.
few places on John that are
Yeah.
open pretty late, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. A lot of them are downstairs, which suited is not, obviously, it's on street level. But if there's not a bunch of noise coming out, and what kind of noise would be coming out of a coffee
just
place?
background
They
music.
have recorded
Yeah,
music,
exactly.
and you know.
Is the
it's
coffee
fine.
place open until 1 o'clock in the morning?
Exactly.
No,
No.
that was, I think 11 would be our absolute max.
It said 1 a.m.
It says
Well,
1
how
a.m.
about if we give you to 11 a.m., 11 p.m. and, and 11 p.m. and
11
if
p.m.
you
I think-
feel
Yes,
you-
that should be fine.
Has
That
to
should
be
be.
fine.
It's our
if you
first
need
time.
more, you'll come back.
11
It's our
p.m.
first time doing it, and we thought, we'll see
All
what.
right, let's do. I think well taken,
Thank you.
everyone.
Mhm.
11 p.m. So can I have with that call the question?
Oh,
Call the question.
Second,
Second.
any abstentions? Any recusals? Any noes? Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I will just
Oh, you're
address
gonna
the
get-
attendees for a second. If there's anyone here for 24 Peck Slip, please raise your hand. Okay, does the committee want to go through 24 Peck Slip?
No, we don't.
Okay.
We want to go home. I'm
Yeah.
going to say good night and thank you all. And thank you. Thank you. I really mean that. I mean, I think all of our questions and we struggle. It is not simple.
It's not
thank
the
you all.
neighborhood that it used to be.
No, it's not, but we try to do the best we can. I really think that. And I thank you all very, very much. See ya.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, all.
Thanks, Onej.